Well, hello there. What is going on, everyone? We are doing a watch party for Ministravaganza. It is day one. It is a super awesome day, and I am going to be sharing this stream out on social media. So if you guys see this, let's go ahead and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're here, if you help support the channel, share it out with your friends. We're going to be watching the opening ceremony, and that is going to dovetail directly into my oven going off in the background because everybody's home. It is summer vacation, and so people are having lunch in the house, and you might hear a dog bark a little bit, but don't worry. We're gonna talk about what we expect to see. We are going to. I'll be certainly muting all of my audio once the stream starts. And so if you're watching on Twitch, if you want to watch and hang out here as well, we can chat. If you are watching only here, that is fine because you'll be able to kind of see everything rebroadcast over here as well. So this is just going to be an extra place for you to watch and talk about and hype it up. And this is going straight into the Legion, Hive, Scum, and Villainy after the opening ceremony. So it's currently 11:37 Eastern Standard Time, and they should be kicking off at noon Eastern Standard Time, so in about 23 minutes. Once that happens, they're going to roll into their opening ceremonies. I assume they'll talk a little bit about some of the recent Armada, X-Wing, and Legion kind of events that they had. I think there was one for Marvel Crisis Protocol 2. There may be a little bit of news. Sometimes if there's something like major that they're going to be talking about that's going to be a theme for the entire event, that's when we'll get that information. And that is about it. But yeah, let's see. Let me share that also. I'm just sharing links for this out. We're also going to be doing giveaways. So if you guys are here, what's going on, everybody in chat? If you guys are watching, we're going to be doing giveaways the whole Ministravaganza. So that is going to be something you won't want to miss because I like doing giveaways. Giveaways are fun. Giveaways are groovy. If you guys are checking us out today, if you're hanging out with us in chat, I would love to hear where you guys are watching from. Go ahead and let me know. Anybody who lets me know not only where they're from, but also their favorite game, do a hashtag Legion, hashtag Armada, hashtag X-Wing, hashtag MCP, hashtag 40K, hashtag Twilight Imperium, hashtag Counter-Strike, whatever whether it's video or board games, tabletop gaming. Let me know what your favorite game is in chat. And if you don't like, don't worry, I'm not going to hold you into, hey, this is your favorite game. You can only like this game. You can like multiple games. It can be one of your favorite games. But yes, so if you guys are watching also on Twitch, they are going to be doing this at AMG's official Twitch channel. But I'll be basically what will happen is I'll switch over to something like this. I'll probably turn myself off like that, boom, and then we'll be able to just watch everything. And if they cut out, then we will switch back to here, and of course we'll come back here and talk about it afterwards because there may be a little break in between the opening ceremony and the Hive of Scum and Villainy stream for Legion, which is going to have some really interesting information. So yeah, we're definitely doing all of this. I wanted to start. I usually start the watch parties about 20 to 30 minutes early, so this way we have time to. Why can't I create a post? It's not letting me share this on my on Facebook. What's wrong with Facebook right now? Facebook is awful. Nobody should use Facebook. I only use it because I have to. That's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. What? Oh yeah. Apparently, I cannot change. There we go. All right, not now. There we go. All right, they made changes, and it wouldn't let me. There we go. I was trying to like share this on Facebook, and I was just saying, no, you can't. Ministravaganza day 1 watch party. There we go. All right, and we're gonna check in with the chat here in just a second and see how you guys are all doing. It's always a little bit of a mad dash to start up a stream and get all the shares out, and I guess I could probably share the links for the stream before we started. There we go. Sharing and Discords and all of that good stuff. So we are ready to go. I think we are all set. All right. So let's check in on the chat. Wow, we got a lot. All right. So if you guys are joining us today, thanks so much for joining us in the chat. We've got a lot of people tuning in from all over the place. Let's see, we got some people from LA, from Washington State, Oregon, Montreal. I think that's our first international. I say international because I am in the United States of America. So if you're not in the same country as me, I count you as international. Of course, for you probably count me as international. Wyoming. I see Victoria, Australia. What is going on? Belgium, Rhode Island, Colorado. Poland, we got Ohio, South Carolina, Ireland. Oh, nice. I think it's the first time I've seen somebody from Ireland. Pennsylvania, tuning in to one of the live streams. Colombia, let's see. St. Augustine, a little bit closer to me. Something that I don't speak Spanish, so I apologize for that. I don't read it too well either. But sometimes, if I have free time, I can try and translate. But I'm trying to get through a lot of comments right now. Washington, Rhode Island, let's see, Mexico, Texas, Wales. All right, we got a lot of Washington, Pennsylvania. Very cool. All right, well, let's see what everybody's favorite games are today. I see some Armada and some Legion and some X-Wing. I see some Legion. I think there's probably going to be a little bit more Legion players in the stream today because of the fact that we are going to be talking about the opening ceremonies, but also Legion. So I think that's definitely going to be a thing that we have today. So that leads me to, I see some X-Wing also. Okay. Usually I'm flooded with a lot of Armada fans because, I do definitely rep Armada quite a bit, and I see we definitely have some in chat, but Legion is definitely, I think Legion is the strongest game under AMG right now as far as their Star Wars stuff and what they're pushing, right? Speaking of Legion, we're going to do our first giveaway. Well, we'll do it probably after the stream, but we're going to be putting up a Force push. Can we see that? Can we see the Force push? There we go. We're going to be doing this Force push. It's the Anakin and Asajj Ventress. This is the alternate art Force push from, and I think I just blurred out my camera from that, but that's from the Unnatural Resources kit. We're going to be giving away a Force push in Discord. So that is going to be happening. So if you're not already in the Discord, I'll be putting that up after this stream. And this will not be the only a giveaway that we do during Ministravaganza. There will be plenty, but make sure you hop into Discord. The links are going to be down in the video description below. You can also check out Crabbok.com. If you're a Legion player, we've got the Legion AI system, as well as the first Ultimate Encounter, which is an Ultimate Palpatine, an 800-point Emperor Palpatine that you can use against your opponent. It sounds he's very, very strong, but you think you've got just one miniature. You've got just one miniature, and your opponents have only one target. They just have to kill you. But Palpatine is super beefy. He gets to activate after every single activation your opponent makes. So you just get to keep doing Palpatine over and over and over and over again. And he's, but every wound is one step closer to victory. So if you can manage to take him out, he's pretty fun. So that's it's an ultimate, and that's something that I just created on my own. It's totally free. You can check that out over on Crabbok.com. If you go to custom content, I also have AI expansions and things like that for Armada as well, and the reviews section. You can check out all of those. But Legion related, after the opening ceremony, there is going to be the Hive of Scum and Villainy stream. It's supposed to be an informational stream, so I think it definitely is going to be one of those times where they talk about the future of Star Wars Legion. Later on today, there will be a similar stream for X-Wing. We also do have an Armada stream later tonight, which you can check out as well. The times for those, I'm going to do an Eastern Standard Time. The X-Wing stream will start at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Armada stream will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be a later Armada stream. That one will be largely painting focused from what we understand there, but hopefully there will be some Armada information included in that stream. Either way, it will at least be an Armada stream. I will be doing a watch party for it, since it's the only Armada stream that we know of right now for Ministravaganza. But the X-Wing stream is going to be loaded with stuff. That one specifically says Battle of Yavin and beyond. But the 12:30 stream, which, again, they're going to be starting in about 14 minutes. They're going to do opening ceremonies. That should be fairly short. Then the 12:30 stream, this is the same stream. So if there's a break in between, we'll come back here. I'll basically be switching over from the AMG stream, where I will not be talking over, to myself, and then I'll be like, "That was great. Let's talk about what we heard," and and so on and so forth. That is the format. That's how the watch party is going to go. Thanks to everybody who is joining us. We got a lot of folks in chat. We got 127 right now in chat. Very cool. Make sure you are sharing this video. Let them know there's giveaways. Let them know this is their chance. And I'd definitely love to have everybody else. We got the Terrain Studio in chat. What is going on, everybody? Is that Sean? I think that's you, right? I think you're the one who tends to run that account. You guys definitely check out the Terrain Studio. Friday Night Fights is one of the really coolest setups for Legion streaming. So you guys definitely check that out. I see Jeff says he thinks that the Bad Batch would be amazing. I think the Bad Batch is definitely something that is coming. I think it will probably be coming sooner rather than later. The Bad Batch started with their official introduction in Clone Wars Season 7, plus then of course the Bad Batch show. I wouldn't be surprised if AMG were hard at work on Bad Batch related content, but my heart is still wanting Star Wars Rebels stuff. And we got a super chat from Geekboy75. What's going on, Geekboy75? Love you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, for some reason Google is letting me give you $5 for no cost. Thanks for the great Legion content. I don't. Well, I would imagine the no cost is no. I don't know. Maybe Google just hooked you up, and thanks for paying it forward. I really appreciate things like that. Super chats definitely help keep the stream supported and help keep the channel running. So thank you for that. I'd say also a great way to get my attention, since we do have a lot of people in chat. That may be something that I may miss your comment, and I do apologize. I tried to get to as many as I can, but there's also so much to talk about. Like, what do we expect? And let me know in the chat what you are looking forward to seeing, whether it be from Ministravaganza as a whole, or whether it's from the today's Legion panel. What are we expecting to see from the Scum and Villainy aspect of the game? Now, if you saw in the thumbnail, I included some stuff. I do expect we're going to see more stuff from the Mandalorian talked about during Ministravaganza. We already expect things like Dark Troopers and Moff Gideon. I wouldn't be surprised if we also got, Cara Dune and Grief Karga and certain other characters that we've seen in the Mandalorian, especially other Mandalorians that we've seen in the Mandalorian, the Armorer and Paz Vizsla and all these other characters, and just really, really cool stuff. I would love to see more of that. But at the same time, what if it's in a slightly different direction? Maybe because Scum and Villainy doesn't make me think straight up Mandalorians, while there are certainly characters from the Mandalorian that could fit into that. I wonder if Scum and Villainy could be other characters like Greedo, that I also included in the thumbnail. Bo-Katan, Steven says, yes, I definitely think Bo-Katan is somebody who will be coming. I don't know if they would have her ready to preview just yet, though. I mean, I think that there is some wisdom in kind of holding off a little bit on Bo-Katan, maybe until the next season. It's so interesting. I'm not sure. Terrain Studio says maybe a terrain set. That could be definitely something that they would do. They certainly do that for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and they certainly have done terrain for Legion before, at least under the FFG banner. However, there was always some kind of pushback on it being just purely terrain. They always had to include some kind of game element or a scenario with it, and I don't think that would be a problem for AMG. They seem to... one of their fortes would be, coming up with these scenarios and these one-shot type of objective, condition, and deployments all in one. like we saw in the Unnatural Resources kit, or the next OP kit that is coming out as well, with the alternate art mall card. And that's something else we may be doing, too. Out of the last time I did a giveaway for the alternate art mall, one of them got claimed, another one did not. So I think that's just going to roll over into Ministravaganza, too. So this is something else that will probably go. This one is, I believe this is a French language version of the alternate art mall from Shadow Collective. So that's something that we will be able to give out as well during our streams. And we have lots more. I mean, one of these days I'll show you guys this box of like promos and giveaways and stuff that I've got. It's pretty obscene. We have and I think right now I have actually had some people reach out to me for X-Wing, because X-Wing I think has the most amount of promos in circulation. So there will be a lot of X-Wing promos. I'll probably do quite a few of those during the X-Wing related streams as well. So, and then some of that will go on Patreon as well. So I will be also doing some bonus patron giveaways. So those of you who are already part of the Patreon team, stay tuned for some of that as well. But that's the cool thing. Patrons have like extra chances, because you can, if you're a patron, you also can still be in Discord and try to get those giveaways. And then sometimes there'll be one that's exclusively for the stream. But I also wanted to have things in Discord so other people can get stuff as well. So time check, looking at 11:52, we're looking at about 7 or 8 minutes until AMG's opening ceremony gets ready to get started, so that will be kicking off soon. And I think the opening ceremony will be kind of just a great way to set the stage for what is coming today and over the course of this weekend. Again, this is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday streaming. They are going from about noon Eastern, which is about 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And they'll be going until pretty late. I think until about midnight Eastern. I think, or that's until maybe around 9 p.m. their time. Each of these days, whether it's late running streams or their hobby hangouts at the end of the day. I want to talk a little bit about the course of the entire weekend. So Friday, I think they're going all the way until midnight. The late stream tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to be doing too much streaming on Friday. There's a lot of... They open the day tomorrow with Marvel Crisis Protocol, and while I am interested in that, and I'll certainly keeping my ear to the ground and listening to some of that, that's one that I'm not going to restream, and I'm not going to have a watch party for that, because most of my audience is more Star Wars focused. I'm still interested in making content for Marvel Crisis Protocol, but I think I'll include the MCP news in sort of a roundup video. So that's so if you are looking for Marvel Crisis Protocol content, you are not I'm not going to hang you out to dry. It's probably going to come like Sunday or Monday, or maybe early next week, where I kind of talk about all of the new things, because they've also already announced some stuff. So I think it's worth kind of doing a Marvel Crisis Protocol catch up for all of you who are MCP players, and all of you who are people who are just interested and just curious, because it is a fun game. I also think that the Saturday stream to most be interested in is the Full of Surprises stream. That's going to be Saturday at 4 p.m. I will be doing a big watch party for that. That's going to be the big stream on Saturday, the Full of Surprises stream. Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, there's also a hobby hangout that says Reveals. And so I wonder if that's going to be something we should be watching, if they're going to have either just sculpts that we've that have been announced, but we haven't seen the sculpt yet, or if it's going to be something all new. And so I'm really interested in what Friday night's hobby hangout could be. Could it be, because it doesn't say what game they'll be doing reveals for, so it might be Marvel Crisis Protocol reveals or whatever. So that is one that we may do a stream for as well. Yes, so the X-Wing stream is at 4 p.m. Eastern, so from 4 to 5. And again, all of these I will start early. I'll probably start about a half an hour beforehand. And I know I get a lot of people in chat right now asking about Armada, wanting more Armada. I think that is Esteban, a Crabbok mini cameo. That file actually has gone missing. So maybe I'll have to create a new Crabbok mini, a mini crab. Yeah, a mini crab cameo. Yeah, I need to find it. I need to find that file and see if I can reincorporate a little mini crab. Yeah, that was funny. All right, but no, a lot of people are asking about Armada today. I think the big Armada stream is the time to get that information. I will definitely be asking. Now, the thing is, since it is that is at 9 p.m. tonight, since that is a painting stream. Dallas Kemp, I believe, is going to be doing that particular stream. I know I certainly made a couple of suggestions to him at Celebration that he should paint more Armada ships. But Dallas doesn't usually give out a ton of spoilers. So, I think if it was Will Schick doing that stream, I think that'd be a better chance to kind of get that information. Because Will Schick will sometimes do painting streams as well. But with Dallas, I just want to manage expectations here. I don't expect that you're going to get like, oh guys, here's Rapid Reinforcements 2, and here is Armada's Wave 11, and here's the next campaign pack. Please don't expect to get that level of spoiler stuff, because I think if you were going to get stuff like that, the title of the stream would be very different, right? Because this is definitely a painting stream. What I think you might get a little bit of, the future of Rapid Reinforcements, like if are they open to doing another one? Is there anything like that in the works? That's a maybe. I don't think that they'll actually say whether or not it's in the works. I think that they would be, I'd love it if they did, but I'm trying to manage expectations for Armada. I personally think good questions related to that, if you're going to ask, is questions along the lines of, what went into, what did it take to get something like this made? Was it different creating digital content for a game that has always had physical content before? How easy was Lucasfilm to work with to create things like a Victory Star Destroyer for the Republic that weren't actually seen in canon or on screen? And so was there challenges with that? What led them to the decision to create a digital product? Is that and are they? What kind of reactions have they had since then? That's it. We are getting very, very close. So I'm just going to tab over right now because opening ceremony is getting ready to kick off. Once it starts, I will be shutting the mic off and I will zoom right over and we'll be watching together. It has not happened yet. It has not started yet. It is going to be starting very, very, very soon. Train Studio says, if we do not get the Gungans, am I down to collaborate on their creation? Absolutely. That sounds like a great, that would be a really fun, community hangout, community brainstorm session, and just for fun, right? Obviously, lots of people do homebrew stuff, and it is really fun to sit around and talk about, what they should have, what they could have, what would you like to see, what would be the craziest stuff, and what would be maybe the most sensible decisions that they could make, and the whole gamut. It's almost like a 5-pointed star. You can talk about what does the game need for balance that this faction could bring, and then what about the hobby side of things, and what about what will be the most over the top or outside of the box decision they could make regarding this faction, and what do you think is most likely and what's most sensible, right? All right, I'm gonna double check in on AMG right now. They are definitely live, but nothing is happening just yet. I just got that little pop-up message, so there they are. I don't think anything is happening just yet though. So they're kind of their warm-up session, right? They're just there in warm-up mode. So very, very cool. And if you guys are here with me, I'll be stick around, hang out. You can watch in both places. If you want to watch on their Twitch channel, it's going to be twitch.tv/AtomicMassGames. So you're more than welcome to watch over there. I'm not trying to steal viewers from anybody. Just trying to share in the hype. And of course, I will be shutting up as soon as they start. And in case they go down, or they've had technical difficulties before, in case something like that happens, I can then kind of change back over to me and then go back over to them. So I know sometimes people were watching, and when a stream cuts off for bandwidth, they'd wonder if they're the only ones that lost it. And so it's nice. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Ministravaganza. It is I, Simonelli, our head of studio. I am joined by Will Schick, head of product development.
Woo! Excited to be here.
Are you excited?
I am. I mean, I've been holding in the Ministravaganza energy for over a month now.
That is true. We have
There was
been
no
holding
release.
it in.
No release. It's just been building and building.
Wow.
You should see Kevin. He's literally hula dancing behind us.
He
He's so
is,
excited.
yes.
He's so excited right now.
There's so much excitement here. So we're here. We're excited. Thank you so much for having a little patience with us last month, but everybody is healthy and happy. So we're going to get into 3 days of streaming. We're going to do games. We're going to do hobbying. We're going to do dev panels. We did do a little staff changing of the people who could be here for Ministravaganza. So you're going to get so much Simone today. I'm going to play some X-Wing.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. Last
Very
time I
cool.
played, I decimated the person. It's going to be great.
You could say
I'm
his
very
name.
excited.
You decimated.
I
developer
decimated
Michael
Plumber. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. So we're going to get all that going. The other thing that we would love to hear from all of you is we do have campaigns that we posted right before the original dates for Ministravaganza, which Chick is going to remind you about.
Yeah, so Call to Destiny is the all-in-one Star Wars campaign that's been going on for a while now. We did launch them when the original Ministravaganza was scheduled, so everyone's had time to maybe play some games, or at least prepare for this weekend to play some games as well. You can report on all of your games now, so please do that so we can find out whether the light side or the dark side takes the win. And of course, Call of Destiny, you're able to create kind of your own characters throughout the different games, use some different perks, choose light side or dark side. It's been a pretty exciting time and fun to work on. We've seen some games played by the community already, and it's just really fun to see people take the games in different directions and kind of have fun with these limited one-off events that we get to put on during Ministravaganza. And then for Marvel Crisis Protocol players, we do have a wedding that is going to be happening this weekend. Renew your vows. We're going to see the renewal of vows between Mystique and Destiny. I've seen several games played online by the community of that as well. So jump in, get those party invites, make sure that you have the presents, make sure your mixtape's the one being played at the party, report all those results, and we'll be announcing which side of the bridal shower, I guess, like grooms or brides, winds up winning that one as well. Just a good time. And you can do all of that on the links that are on all of the social medias. And if you're looking for the rules, they're all online on our website, atomicmassgames.com, so you can check them out. And of course, they will stay up after the event, so even if you don't wind up playing or want to play again later on with your community or whatever, they'll be there just like all the other Ministravaganza events. So absolutely download them, find them, schedule some times. Even if you're not reporting, it's still fun to play.
Yeah. Well, so those are the things to expect from us, over the next 3 days. But, Chick, why are we hanging out with Odin?
Why are we hanging out with Odin?
I mean, because he's very handsome.
He is. He's also very stern. I think we based the face off of any time someone at Atomic Mass asked Simone Elliott a question. That's the furrowed brow.
My chair looks just like that.
So for people who don't know,
Yeah.
right, this is the worthy top award.
Yeah.
So if you win our Marvel Crisis Protocol painting competition, which will be launching at Adepticon 2023. So if you're wanting to get in on that, there's your timeline. Adepticon 2023, we're going to finally launch the Worthy after the delays from COVID and everything else. So if you want to get your hands on a one-of-a-kind, gigantic, super heavy Odin, that's your chance. We're going to be talking a lot more about the competition, what to expect between Dallas, Simone, and BK. So all of that information is coming. But painters, get your brushes ready, get ready to go, and start working on those entries for Adepticon 2023. And that's not all about Adepticon.
No, we are leaning really hard into Adepticon. So moving forward, Adepticon will be AMG's big event every year. We are so happy to kind of partner with them and just really make sure all of our games are represented. It will be the place where we will be holding the World Championships for 2023 for our Star Wars games. So obviously this is going to be the first World Championships since the pandemic. So we will be honoring all of the invites from the previous year. You can also still qualify. We're doing a bunch of events this year. Gen Con, we've got tickets still for all of the world qualifiers. So that's super cool. We're going to make sure over the next couple of days that we put the links up on our socials so you can learn about all of those, how to sign up. And then also we've got some happening internationally, which we'll also give you additional information about. In September, we have China and the Netherlands. And then in October, I've got Spain and Canada. As we have more of them announced, we will definitely get that information to all of you. But you can expect to see many of us at Adepticon in 2023, and we are so excited to see you all there.
It's going to be a great time. We've got way more space coming from the Adepticon folks. We're working really close in partnership. There's some very cool ideas to kind of make it feel like a unique event. So don't miss it. It's going to be the thing. And then going forward, that will be the start of all of the Star Wars World Tournament circuits. So the season will begin and end in 2023. So after the world events happen at Adepticon next year, the new season will kick off right away, and there'll be more open qualifiers and everything else throughout the globe for people to qualify for Adepticon 2024. And that will be our new cycle going forward.
Yeah, and also to talk a little about Marvel, we are planning some exciting Marvel events at Adepticon as well. So come hang out with us, and please paint beautiful things, and please win this beautiful handsome boy, which unfortunately we'll have to give you the one that's in the office, so I'll spend a little time with him now, but eventually he'll be yours. What else should we talk about? I feel like...
You have the list.
I have the list,
I know.
and I feel like I'm going to give people a sneak peek of something that they've been asking us about.
Yeah.
And now our lovely marketing team has given me some sneak images of our upcoming website.
Yay!
Yeah. So we will be launching our Atomic Mass Games website probably the end of August is kind of when we're looking at. And I wanted to give you a little sneak peek. We've done, obviously, a whole redesign. This will be the home for all of our games. So you're going to get beautiful miniatures, art. Here you go. This is a sneak peek at the Legion product page. You can see we're going to be featuring all that awesome photography we're doing. There'll be a place for the articles to live. You'll be able to have all the products, galleries, assembly instructions. All of those things that you desire will live on this website. Yep. Oh, and then we got the MCP one. Beautiful. It'll also have our event calendar, a section where we keep all of the Ministravaganza information from Ministravaganza's past. So we've been working really hard on this. I'm so excited to kind of show you these first peeks of what the look looks like. Cool. That is it for sneak peeks for opening ceremonies.
Oh, we're out.
We're out.
We're out.
That's it.
You know what that means.
What does that mean?
It's time for the ceremonial raising of the Odin. Why isn't it going up? There we go! And the Odin is raised. May Ministravaganza commence. 3 days, hobbying, playing, dev panels. Congratulations, Odin to the sky, to Valhalla! Goodbye! We'll see you in like 5 minutes.
See you in 5 minutes. Bye, friends.
Oh, it's still going. Oh, it stopped.
All right. So if you're still here watching, it was crazy. He's like, why isn't it going up? I was so tempted to say there's a little pill for that, but I didn't because I don't want to be inappropriate. Yet I just said it. Sometimes you got to keep those voices inside. No, that was funny though. That was a funny moment. Little technical difficulties. So, two things. The Odin statue. That's going to be the award for the MCP painting contest. They talked about Adepticon, and I think the big news is the website. The website is definitely the big news. Let me see if I can probably load this up in real time. Some pictures of that. So we can definitely do that. Let's let me just, I'm gonna load them up because I never thought they were gonna. I literally just said in chat, I'm like, oh, I don't think they're ever gonna get that website done. and sure enough, like there it is. All right. So there we go. They're gonna have a new website, and we can see it right there. They have a Marvel section, they have a Star Wars section, they have a gaming section and a hobbying section, and an event calendar. And now I'm really wondering, because if that's a preview, I wonder why, if they have Star Wars and Marvel, what's the gaming section, or is that just like a placeholder for something else? I don't know. Less Crabbok, more of the voices in his head, maybe. Krabby just spamming Armada every time, take a drink every time he says Armada, right? But yeah, so that's a thing, right? Like they like obviously they have a Marvel section. I wonder if they have a Marvel section, is the next game they get going to also, are they going to have another Marvel game? Right? Because if the Marvel drop-down section looks just like the Star Wars drop-down section, it says that doesn't say Marvel Crisis Protocol. I feel like this is a hint that there's another Marvel game in the works, which is interesting because I don't know what other scale you do a Marvel game, right? Maybe they're going to do like a Marvel space game that's like Armada, and that's why they have a preview for every game except Armada. I don't know. This was just a preview, so it doesn't mean that they don't have an Armada page also. But I think they definitely wanted to preview their, they definitely wanted to show you Legion, and I guess they definitely wanted to show you X-Wing as well. I'm curious about that little blue splash over there. Like, what's that? Is it covering something up that's not supposed to be there? I don't know. As soon as the Hive of Scum and Villainy stream starts, by the way, we will be talking about that. So like this is this time to kind of talk about what is really coming. So we could kind of see on their homepage here that scenes to stats, swoop bike riders, latest transmissions, Star Wars Legion products, Legion gallery. That's nothing, no spoilers there. So it's only stuff about what is currently out there. Now, it does have a new AMG logo with kind of a triangle in the middle. Gaming might have Catan in it. I don't think so. I don't think they could have changed, but at least the plan when they made the big changeover where all of the FFG stuff moved to AMG was that AMG was going to be strictly miniatures games, not board games. So I don't think you'll see something like Catan over here, even if it were a Marvel Catan or a Star Wars Catan, because Asmodee has other studios to deal with licensed games that don't fit into the category of miniatures games. For example, Jabba's Palace is a love letter game, which I happen to have right in front of me. This was put out by Z-Man Games. Outer Rim is still put out by Fantasy Flight Games, things like that. And so even Imperial Assault, which is technically has miniatures, is not considered a miniatures game. It's still still a board game that still stayed with Fantasy Flight Games that did not move over to Atomic Mass Games, although it also is a complete game, so maybe there was no reason to move it. But yeah, gaming could be generic stuff. Yeah, it could be. Maybe they're leaving the door open. I think gaming is probably a more of a door open scenario for, let's just say Asmodee owns certain IPs that they don't have to worry about getting licensed to any company like Disney or Lucasfilm or Marvel or things like that. So let's just say their next game was a Twilight Imperium miniatures game, right? Well, Twilight Imperium already has miniatures. I think the world works really good for like a ship, like an Armada. Let's say we're going to do an Armada fleet battle style game in the Twilight Imperium universe. And that obviously wouldn't fit under Marvel or Star Wars. That could fit under gaming. If it was a miniatures game, AMG could potentially do that, and that's where that would go. Similarly, if they were to do something else in the world of Terranoth, think of games like Descent, think of games like Rune Wars. All of that is in Terranoth. That's another Asmodee IP that could go, if it were a miniatures game, it could be theoretically made by Atomic Mass Games and could potentially go under the gaming category. I was going to say Keyforge, because they have our own IP for that too, but they just sold that to Christian Peterson, who was the founder of Fantasy Flight Games. So he's got Keyforge back into his new company, Ghost Galaxy. So I don't think that's one of those universes that they will work. But that's about it. Let's see. I did miss some of the comments, so we're going to get back to the chat here. And Paladin says maybe they'll do a Marvel board game that'll be shunted to FFG once it actually takes off. I don't think so, but that is a little bit funny. Let's see what else we got here. Armada comes on big money, spin the wheel, roll the chance cubes. Yeah, well, that is tonight. They are doing an Armada stream. That was going to be the best chance to get those Armada questions in. Same thing with X-Wing questions. There is a little bit more X-Wing stuff going on. And that's an interesting aspect to me, is that X-Wing has these cards coming out. Like I don't think they're doing any more X-Wing ships, at least for a while, probably at least for a couple years. Same thing with Armada, right? But X-Wing has these new scenario packs, or these, the Battle of Yavin pack with these standard loadouts. Really, really cool kind of quick build system for X-Wing. I would love it if they would do something like that for Armada. As long as they put enough thought into it, and it was play tested and balanced, that'd be awesome. I think that'd be fantastic. So I'm curious why we haven't seen anything like that for Armada yet. I think more of their the fact that X-Wing has probably a little bit larger player base is probably why they're kind of focusing on doing this. Is like maybe X-Wing is the test run to see how well paper products sell for a game like this, for a miniatures game. And hopefully if Battle of Yavin goes well for X-Wing, then they'll look at doing more content like that for Armada. Rapid Reinforcements was kind of a holdover, maybe like a Band-Aid fix. I don't think it will be the last Rapid Reinforcements. But I wonder how many more we'll get. And I also really hope that the next Rapid Reinforcements is slightly different than the first as far as format. Like, I'd love to get some more upgrade cards and commanders instead of just ships and squadrons. I'd like to get just a little bit wider, and maybe twice as many pages of cards, right? So instead of just one ship and one squadron for your faction, maybe you get maybe 4 or 5 things for your faction instead of just 1 or 2 things. So that'd kind of go on my wish list. But I'm okay with rapid reinforcements and content like that dropping in small doses. I'm okay with that. It gives you a chance to to fully absorb it before the next drop, because sometimes when content comes out really fast for a game, you don't get a chance to fully integrate it into your playstyle before the next content drops. So that's kind of a cool a cool way that they were doing it. So hopefully, I just would love to know like what the plan is, what they're working on, what we can maybe expect, what we can look forward to for Armada and X-Wing. And I know that they are planning to definitely address that for X-Wing. I'm also curious if they're going to do things like that for Legion. Are we going to see like quick builds or standard loadouts for Star Wars Legion? I think that we kind of get close to that with Battle Forces, because it reduces some of the list building options in Battle Forces. But I wonder if they'll take that to an extreme and be like, here is a specific Rebel build all on one card. You have to run exactly this build. But if you do, you get some kind of bonus. I wonder if they will do something like that. I don't really see them doing that. I think you might get a quick build for like Luke. Like, here is a Commander Luke Skywalker as he appeared on Hoth, so he's going to have exactly these upgrades and nothing more, nothing less. And if you take him, maybe you get a points discount or something like that. And that would be interesting. I think that would be worth looking into. I think it'd be pretty cool, and it'd be an outside of the box kind of thing. At least outside of the box for how Legion is now. It's certainly within the box if you consider what they're doing for X-Wing right now. So it's, but I think that's a recipe that could work. But there might be some pushback for some people. So it kind of depends on if it's tournament legal or not. And I would hope that if it's balanced, then it is tournament legal, and if it's like wild and crazy and potentially overpowered, then I would hope it's just for a scenario. That's kind of how what was the last campaign for Armada had some situations like that where it was there were some aspects that were wildly overpowered, and while that could be fun for a scenario, I wouldn't want that to be like a tournament legal setup. So what's going on, everybody? We are at 280 viewers right now. Let's talk about some of the giveaways that we're doing today, because we're going to be doing a force push. This is from the Rapid Reinforcements, not Rapid Reinforcements. This was from a Natural Resources. We got the force push going on. This is going to go out into what is that thing? Discord. So if you guys aren't already in Discord, we're going to have a link down in the description below. You can go join the Discord now. We have a giveaways channel. I'll be posting this and any other giveaways that get announced throughout the stream and the day. There'll probably be additional giveaways throughout this weekend. So it's not just going to be a force push. There's going to be other stuff that gets in there too. And you will have, if you're watching this later, I'll leave them up. Basically, they have a giveaways channel in Discord. You can go to that channel. You just have to react with like the double critical emoji, and I'll demonstrate it, in there. So you just have to basically do that. If you win, it will tag you in Discord. I will let this run for about a week or so. So people who are watching late or people who couldn't catch the stream live still have a chance to win. And, oh, we gotta ban somebody. We gotta ban somebody from... report as spam. Yep. Got it. Doom. All right. Oh, we got more. Report as spam. We got... Yep. All right. No link, right? No. Hopefully that's all gone. All right. When does the stream start? The stream starts at in 9 minutes. 9 minutes. The stream will start. It is 12:21 right now. The stream should be starting at approximately 12:30, and this is why we do the watch party, because you never know when the streams are going to end. Now, they're like, the opening ceremony had a time block of noon to 12:30, but they only used about half of that time, and that gives us time to talk about everything that we saw. The big news, obviously, was the website. They actually had a preview of the website for us, which is really interesting. And I know we'll never really hear why it took so long to get this to a point where they could show it to us. And like, who knows when it'll actually be published live. But I don't think we have an exact date yet. But obviously, it must be pretty soon if they're actually able to show us this now. So it's probably much sooner than later. But I know we'll never really hear why. But I would love to, like, one of these days hear like what the deal is, like what was the holdup, because like a lot of people can put a website together in an afternoon. And obviously this looks like a really nice website. This doesn't look like something that was put together in a single afternoon. But still, I mean, I imagine there had to have been a ton of licensor approval that goes into doing something like this. And I'm just naturally curious, but unfortunately, that's one that I'm probably not ever going to get the answer to. Good thing is, though, it does have Marvel and Star Wars sections and a gaming section, which it might either be a placeholder or might be a great place for everything that doesn't fall into the Marvel and Star Wars categories, which is a really interesting kind of speculation, because they currently don't have any games that don't fall into either Marvel or Star Wars. Now, I wonder if that means there is going to be a new game announced. Now, there doesn't appear to be room for a new game right now. They don't have any new games announced as far as any of the streams that they have too. Everything seems to fit into a Marvel or Star Wars kind of scenario. Even their Full of Surprises stream, which is Saturday, that's going to be probably the biggest stream of the entire weekend, is still just a Star Wars stream. So what could this gaming section be for? That's a really interesting question, because it's not just generic stuff, because they kind of have hobbying over here, right? Like, that's the hobbying section. So yeah, I've got questions. I guess we'll find out. Then again, at the same time, while we're doing all this speculation about Marvel and Star Wars and what else is coming, we're we're like, what, 3 weeks away from Gen Con? Maybe, no, 2.5 weeks? I'm sorry, like, yeah. Or is it exact? I don't know. Yeah, we're like 3 weeks from Gen Con. Let's see, 24th, fly on the 3rd. Yeah, we're 3 weeks almost to the day from the start of Gen Con. And Gen Con has historically been a big place for major announcements, reveals, and news. So I wouldn't be surprised if Atomic Mass Games has something new to show us at Gen Con that will be part of this website. And perhaps that will shed some more light on why the website took so long. I wonder about a great many things. Of course, I do spend a lot of my time speculating. Let's go to the chat and talk to some of you guys. Clyde says, a Marvel versus Star Wars game? I wish. That would be so much fun. I think the closest we're going to get right now is like Lego, doing some Lego stuff. Or gosh, we actually had DC and Marvel, or rather DC and Star Wars in the same, what was it, the Batman movie? Was it the Batman movie? The Millennium Falcon showed up, and then Batman took a ride in the Millennium Falcon. That was really cool. But I love crossovers like that. I would love a game that either is itself a crossover, and there are plenty of game systems that do that. Unmatched. I've done some videos for the game called Unmatched, and that one is exclusively all about crossovers, but they do kind of more mythology and also historical characters. So that's an interesting one. But a Star Wars game similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol, I think that's realistic, potentially. I don't know how much draw it would have in a world that has Legion, because I feel like a Star Wars Crisis Protocol game, well, I would certainly be interested in it. I feel like the scope of the miniatures would be, the scale of the miniatures would be too close to Marvel to Legion, that it would either, like, that only one of the two could really survive realistically. I feel like Star Wars Crisis Protocol would cut the Legion community in half, because I think you've got some people that are probably that like Legion for the hero aspect, and some people that like Legion for the generic troops aspect. And I think the half that likes the hero aspect a little bit more, the people who tend more often than not to include one or more Jedi in their builds or something like that, would have like this exodus where they would leave Legion for in favor of a smaller game. Or also maybe the people who like skirmish, like that smaller game, might leave for a Crisis Protocol style game if it was Star Wars themed. So I don't know if it would be too wise to do that. I look back to Rune Wars Miniatures game, which was a new game that Fantasy Flight had put out, a tabletop medieval, rank and file style miniatures game. Really cool game, and it had just kind of gotten started. It was in like its second wave of content when they announced Star Wars Legion, and the game just was like instantly died. Like, especially for me, like I never bought another product after that, never played it another time after that. Yeah, so that was really interesting. And Star Wars Zombie Side, the problem there is you're looking at two completely different studios. You're looking at CMON or Kaman teaming up with Atomic Mass Games. I mean, well, not necessarily. You wouldn't need AMG involved at all. If Lucasfilm gave a license to Kaman, then you could totally do that. I would have to cover that game naturally. Well, we just hit what do we have? 300 viewers? No, we're 287 right now. I think did we have 300? I've got two different sets of stats telling me. One says we're at 286, one says we're at 300. Either way, that's awesome. I think it's time for another giveaway. So let me go ahead and see what I can do while we're getting ready. They should be starting any minute now. If they start before I find a new giveaway, I've got a Scotch bottle, a Scotch box full of promos. Let me see what I'm gonna do for you guys. Let's see what we've got in my bag of tricks. Here, we want Armada, we want X-Wing. Where's all the Legion stuff? Ooh, I got another little Legion. Okay, we've got a clone DC-15, and it's double-sided, and it's got an E5C1 trooper here. That's pretty cool. All right, so if you're a Clone Wars player, got something for you here. All right, this one's going to go out in the stream. I'll announce the winner for this one at the end of this stream. So you'll have to watch the next panel, and I'll do that. So give me either a hashtag clones or hashtag GAR or hashtag CIS. And either one of those will enter you to win that. I just want to know which what side we prefer, who's got the most. And whoever gets like the most, or whichever seems to be the most dominant, maybe I'll choose a winner from that side. Oh my gosh, what in the world is all of this? Oh, what? Oh, we got a whole bunch of. Maybe that was a bad choice of hashtags, because we're getting a whole lot of. It's flagging all of that as spam. All right, stop doing the hashtags. Stop doing the hashtags. Oh my goodness. I gotta hit show on every one of these. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. You don't have to do the hashtag. You can just type CIS or GAR. You can do it without the hashtag. That is also okay. That is also okay. I just set off like 1,000 YouTube alarms. My goodness, what am I doing? Oh, they've changed the algorithm now. They're marking all of you guys as spam. Now it's working better. I got more. I got to hit show on. Oh my god, that's funny. That's fun. Oh, we're having fun. All right, did AMG start? What are they doing? Where is this? They still haven't started this stream. They're going to be starting it any second now. So as soon as they start the stream, I'll switch over. It's going to be like this. There we go. Star Wars Legion, a hive of scum and villainy. Find out what happens when two droids, a Wookiee, and a Bantha walk into a cantina with trouble on their mind. Will Grand Admiral Thrawn finally find the loot of the Golden Flute? And will Max Rebo escape yet another devastating explosion? Find out on this week's episode of Dragon Ball Z. I'm just literally making up things as I talk into the microphone, because that has nothing to do with Dragon Ball Z. But yes, pro streamer moments is right. All right, we got a lot of entries. I will definitely pick one of these winners. Let's move over.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Legion Dev Panel, a hive of scum and villainy.
Are we the hive or the scum or the villainy?
All of the above, my friend. So we've got a ton of content to go through in the next 90 minutes. We're going to be talking about pretty much everything that you can expect for the next several months of Legion, going right into 2023 and a little bit beyond that. So, with that said, I'm Will Schick, Director of Product Development for Time Wise Games. To my left is...
I'm Will Pagani, the Development Manager.
I am Simone Elliott, the head of studio.
I'm Marco Segovia, the Director of Sculpting.
So we're going to be kind of talking about a holistic thing in addition to game rules and design. We're going to be talking about art, which Simone Elliott has graciously stepped in for one Preston Stone, who was supposed to be with us at the original Ministravaganza, but unfortunately because of the delay and the reschedule, is not able to be with us in studio today. So she's going to be talking about all the cool art. And Marco is going to be taking us through the entire design and concepting and sculpting process to kind of explain how each of these things we're going to look at came into reality, become the beautiful miniatures that they will be when they hit store shelves, and you all get to pick them up, put them together, paint them, and play with them. The first thing we want to start off with, though, is something that was released last week, and we've been talking about a bit, and that is the new battle forces for Legion, specifically the ones for the four main factions: Rebels, Empire, Republic, and Separatists. Pagani, why don't you just take us through a little bit of the design process and thoughts, the goals for the battle forces, like what to expect going forward, hit all of the good stuff about this brand new world for Legion.
Yeah, so the idea behind the battle forces is that they give players an additional way to use their armies and their miniatures that are not the standard way of doing it. And the hope here is not that these ever replace normal gameplay, right? It's always an additional thing that you can add in to the game to build depth and choice for the players. So to kind of run through a little bit of each of the ones, the ideas behind them. The Echo-based defenders here are a very defensive force. This is the Rebels trying to hold out for long enough for their escape craft to escape Hoth. And yeah, so you're going to see a lot of things like the standby tokens from the command cards, a lot of defensive units, a lot of Hoth-themed units. So you have all that kind of stuff.
And this, it was a really great kind of way to dive into the scenes that we see in the movie and kind of give players a chance to recreate in many ways on their Legion tabletops. Those iconic moments in Battle Forces are really indicative and pulled from those things. Simone, I know that you love this art piece. You had a lot of commentary as Preston was doing it.
So, not just creating iconic things, but the things you wish could have happened, like Leia leading the forces just out there charging. You got Han still on the Tauntaun. You got Chewbacca there. Like, this is the moment that maybe I wish I could have seen and didn't. But now Preston has made this beautiful art for me, so you all get to enjoy it. And you get to kind of imagine the things that could have happened. Like, also with Blizzard Force, that one is one that I'm very excited about as well.
I think that's the one we're going to be moving on to.
I think so.
Who knew that I knew the order of the things?
Yeah. It's magic.
These papers are completely empty.
Oh, yeah. This just so we look like newscasters. Like,
Yes, we get to...
Oh, you can't even see me. I'm not. Yes, thank you, Pagani, for backing me up on that one.
I got
you. So Mr. Darth Vader there, standing triumphantly on the hill. That was a conversation.
That was a lot of conversation about, would he be there? How would that look? And in the end, we were able to create this amazing piece. I actually kind of like the fact that he's in the back doing his thing, and everybody, like, you got your snowtroopers in the front. It's a great piece. This is a moment where I'm going to talk about the other thing I love with Preston's composition of how he put these all together is that we did these great pieces so that we could use parts of them for the command cards.
Yeah, each of the three command cards that are unique to the battle forces, the art from those comes from each of these large sort of box cover pieces. Personally, I really like this one because you get a really good color variance between like the fire down at the bottom. The red lasers look really great on the blue. It's just
Good contrast of lighting and the color. That's
just
really
fantastic.
nice. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And then Blizzard Force is, of course, a very offensive army here. It's meant to push forward. It's got the snowtroopers that are sort of that unrelenting advance of the Empire. And you see that in a lot of these suppression mechanics that are built into the command cards, the units, things like that. So I really like how that is sort of shown in this art as well as in the gameplay.
So I think 501st is next, and this one I really like for a number of reasons. One of the things you talked about initially with the goals for Battle Forces is that Battle Forces aren't meant to replace standard army compositions. They're not necessarily built to become the next big competitive thing. They're built to be fun, thematic, and give players a chance to really hone in on things that they may identify with, that they may really love, provide some benefits for a limited army construction, and kind of build out from there. And I think the 501st is a great example of that idea of, you know, we see Anakin Skywalker leading his 501st clones. ARC Troopers are super cool. It's very difficult in a standard army composition to really focus on them. Our goal here wasn't necessarily to make the next great Republic army. It was to create a vehicle by
It looks like
players who
they
really
stopped.
love
Okay.
these troops and want to play with them a chance to be able to do that and to give them some tools to manage kind of the detriments of a more elite high point army.
Absolutely. And I think it also gives a lot of hobby opportunities for all of these battle forces, right? Like, we may not necessarily make exactly the miniatures that are represented by some of these things, but it gives players and hobbyists the chance to do that themselves. So you can sort of, I don't know, make specialists ARC troopers that are specific to the 501st and stuff. And I think that's really, really great.
Yeah. And kind of a little in creating the art for this, we don't get to do that many big battle scenes for Legion art, and like this just feels like Clone Wars to me. Like
Absolutely.
like you have entered the scene, everything is happening, and I just love Anakin standing there like trying to lead everybody, and they're maybe getting a little overrun, but they're gonna survive.
They got Anakin
got
and Rex
this.
got this.
Anakin
They got
got
this.
this.
They're
Look at all
fine.
those ATRTs back there.
Oh, that
They're
is
coming.
true.
They're
It's
coming.
the cavalry. And then the last one, of course, is the Separatist invasion. This one, it's like B1s, more B1s, and more B1s. So sometimes battle forces kind of mimic, standard competitive styled army construction, and that's also okay. I think this is kind of a fun
Absolutely.
corollary to the 501st, where the 501st isn't necessarily optimized, but it lets you experience units and clones in a way that is very thematic and can be very fun and identifiable to people, versus something that almost feels like home, but adds a couple of restrictions and a couple of different like variances on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we can line up sort of the idea of Star Wars and the things that we're trying to represent here on the table with also how people are already playing, that's just a win-win. So it's great.
Yeah, and for me, anytime that we can tell Preston, like, get Grievous in here doing his Grievous stuff is phenomenal.
Doing his thing.
Yeah.
Leading them droids.
Look, I've worked with Preston a long time. He knows what the Grievous stuff is.
Just put more Grievous stuff in
To be
there.
more great, he will do it.
So that kind of wraps up everything we kind of want to talk about Battle Force. This is going to be really important as we dive forward, because we're going to be talking about more Battle Forces that
We
are
are.
on the way.
We certainly are.
Because this is not a one and done thing. This is very much like a new direction forward, and you're going to be seeing Battle Forces alongside new releases. And a lot of the things we talk about have Battle Forces that are tied into them. So if these ones aren't your cup of tea, there are more coming. And if you're like, but you're missing like Ahsoka Tano from the 501st or things like that, these are also living documents. So they will change and evolve as new releases come out. They're not locked in stone. And of course, that's why they live online as print and play as well. So if you haven't checked them out yet, you can go to atomicmassgames.com, download the rules for yourself, and start using them in all of your games. These are legal for all modes of play. So go enjoy, take a look at the first four, and we're excited to start talking about now the future.
The future!
And give Marco a chance to talk about some really awesome sculpts that are coming up. So one of the things we mentioned last Ministravaganza, if you're with us, is that a big kind of touch point after the Shadow Collective was kind of us diving into the Mandalorian and the show and all the great characters and things that we see in that. So the first big thing we're going to be talking about, which is coming out at the end of the year, and we're going to be focusing on with some hobby panels and stuff like that throughout the course of the next 3 days, is the Mandalorian content, and that, of course, starts with...
Djarin and Grogu.
Look at that little cutie.
Wonderful paint job.
These were actually revealed at Star Wars Celebration in a panel that
that was
Elliot
me.
did.
Yes.
Yeah, you did that.
I thought you were there. You were not. It's fine.
I was not there. I was there for the start, but not the end.
In spirit.
I was there in spirit. Marco, talk to us a bit about this sculpt and everything that went through it, because I know you pretty much took this one from almost start to finish.
Yeah, our team kind of pulled it forward to the end of the finish line there. Like, it really was pretty well developed, but we were still in the concepting phases. It was the focus and the struggle there was that obviously people, when they think of the Mandalorian, they think of that poster, that walking stride, and it was a struggle between choosing that or like really emulating and exaggerating the cowboy western feel that the first season, that all of this is inspired by, is captured in the miniature. So it was more going in that direction of going the western gunslinger, and that contrasted with Grogu's more like the internal force use and more subdued.
The magic hand.
Yeah, the magic hand.
Yeah.
Versus the gear over the top gunslinger momentum that we're giving Din here. And that's where we kind of wanted to keep going with this whole line of like bounty hunters to give that spirit of the first season of Mandalorian some life.
There was some exploration that happened in the middle where we were trying to go with a couple of options, right? And I know people love the options, but we often talk about on streams and stuff, you know, like, why didn't this person get options? Like, why is it just this way? Talk to us about that, because originally we were trying to have him both be able to be fast gunning his blaster pistol and also hold the Amban rifle. And there were very specific reasons why we abandoned that idea, and I think you can speak really well, and this is a great case study of how sometimes options just don't make sense.
I mean, it really comes down to, it's a balance of multiple factors that come into play, and it was whether, well, like with the phrase we like to often use is the juice worth the squeeze? In this case, to give that option was something that we really wanted to give, but it's again to really sell the theme of the overall character and the overall line that's coming out in this wave with it. As much as we want to give as many options as we can, it also just comes down to various factors of, is this important to our timeline that we need to make sure that we're staying in line with the spirit of this wave.
And I think you talked a lot about how capturing that fast draw from the hip like pose was really important. And this kind of ties back into like when you're doing sculpts, we talk a lot about anatomy and physiology, right?
Yeah.
And
when you have different
you can't
shoulders,
do a rifle and do the same, right? Like talk a little bit about that, like shoulder positioning, chest positioning.
Because it's just the subtleties of like, well, he's going to have a rifle. He's not going to shoot from the waist.
Right.
Like so obviously he's going to hold it properly. But the problem is that now your shoulders are raised, and so now that all this area, and then on top of the armor that's cluttering the collar area, that doesn't really provide a good, clean way to swap those arms to that cool classic gunslinger low aim shot, and that's where we had to make that hard choice, and we feel that this is and with all confidence the best way to.
Yeah, and I think especially where he's sitting like with Grogu, I feel him cool. Like he just looks so much cooler in his shooting from the
and
hip.
like we said, like that contrast of like where Grogu's more the Force and like just that fun little character, and then also contrasted with Mandalorian's gear and like that gunslinger attitude.
And the Amban rifle is an interesting one too, because as we were working through the pose and the sculpting concept and stuff, it actually translated really well with the developments that were happening on the rules side, which is originally the Amban rifle was like a weapon equipment slot that effectively added different dice. But then Pagani, you and the team decided to go an entirely different way, which we'll talk about here.
Yes.
And actually, I think we're going to show it.
I think we are too.
So we'll save that for a little bit, but it was fun to see like the rifle went from being something that you would want to see on the miniature a lot to something that made sense to not be the focus of the mini because of the way the card interacted and the rules and stuff. But yeah, I think it was a really interesting time, and we had a lot of hard discussions because, you know, we took it like right, as I recall, we took it like right to the deadline of trying to make both poses work, and then eventually the question really became like,
there was a number of iterations.
I know, and then I think like, but I remember sitting down in that room and everyone was just like, look, you were like, we can do this, but this is what it's going to look like. And ultimately, it was, I'd rather have one amazing looking miniature than two like 50%.
We might as well
options.
just go all the way with it.
Yeah.
And our poor Evan. Poor Evan.
He did a lot of Mandalorian iterations. It's true, but that's how you get here. So, so that was really cool. Let's take a look at the art that went along with this guy, and have Simone Elliott talk about her boy.
Ooh.
Okay. By my boy, I only mean Grogu. Like,
That's what we were talking about, right?
There
Like,
you
look at that cutie. Preston obviously did a lot of work on these, and capturing so much personality in someone who is just helmeted and kind of stoic, but the way his little hand curves around Grogu, I love it.
Very
warms your
protective.
heart.
It warms, yes.
Just giving him little ear scritches.
Little ear scratches. Who doesn't love an ear scratch?
Who doesn't love ear scritches? I think the way they captured the reflectiveness of the Beskar armor and everything. I love how the Legion terrain element is in the background. That little like moisture evaporator thing.
I
These little
assembled
spinny
so
wheels.
many of those.
Yeah, it just
Yep.
it's a great piece. Super strong, and obviously this is the unit card art.
Yep.
I think there's more art to look at.
There sure is.
Oh,
the magic hands?
The magic hands.
The
Like you
hand.
can't not have this.
With his little face.
Like so determined, so little pudgy cheeks. Anyway,
Got Din in the background there.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I love that Preston does with his art, is that he always gives a little things in the background that you're not
In the
that's not
background, a reflection
or
in
something hidden
Mhm.
within the art.
Well, it's a whole story there.
Yeah, right.
And,
Yeah.
and we all watched this story, so we know what's going on here. But like this art piece, I think, tells a great story.
He's fantastic.
And then I believe that we have the Amban sniper rifle
We do.
and the whistling birds.
Great
which
piece.
You can't have Din without whistling birds.
Yeah.
Right. That scene in the show was just so fantastic.
And it's probably worth noting that the vast majority of the design and inspiration came primarily from season 1 for everything that we're going to talk about.
Correct, yes.
So, there's room to explore later on Din Djarin. You're not going to see him with the Darksaber.
Correct. Yes. Was that a question?
I don't know.
I was waiting for you to tell me I'm wrong. There's so many things going on.
Nope.
Yeah. So again, that's kind of the inspiration for this iteration of The Mandalorian and the Child. There's always possibilities and options to expand in the future and create new versions. We're going to be talking about one of those, which is Boba Fett, but that's going to be in a little bit. So just some awesome art. Let's talk about how this art, the sculpt, everything got crammed into Devon Design.
Let's do it.
And take us away, Pagani.
So I believe we have a unit card to show first. And the unit card for Din, Din in general, let me actually take one step farther back. A lot of operatives in general are ranged units, right? They're meant to stay farther back, they're meant to shoot, especially things like Boba Fett, and a lot of the other bounty hunters are very range-oriented. We wanted Din to not just be like another option inside of that bucket. We wanted him to be a little more aggressive in how he plays, because you always see him going headfirst into situations. He's not worried about stuff. He's got Beskar armor. He's an aggressive person, right?
He gets punched a lot.
He gets punched a lot.
A lot.
And he punches a lot.
Yeah.
So this card here shows a lot of ways for him to sort of move forward and be aggressive. His primary range attack is only range 2 instead of range 3 or 4, like a lot of these other things. And we're going to talk a little bit about the rifle here in a little bit, which you mentioned earlier. And so the goal for that was to make him sort of a more forward brawler piece, much more than a sit back and plink people off piece. And then we also played a lot with how aim tokens work on Din and what you can use them for. So you're going to see a lot of lethal, long shot. You have tactical to get aim tokens. So you have a lot of different ways and different sort of resources that you're playing with, including positioning for how effective Din is going to be on the table.
And of course, you'll see that Din is a mercenary option, so he follows all the mercenary rules. He can work for Empire or Rebels, so this is the first instance of bounty in Rebels.
That's true. That is true.
And there is a specific specification when it comes to Grogu, which we're going to talk about.
Yes, I think that might be maybe a couple more cards down. Oh, no, Tony's got us. Here we go. So here's a Grogu. So there's a mini game that you get to play with Grogu called Hunted, and if you defeat Grogu or Din, you're going to drop a little Grogu token on the table that you get to pick up, and you're going to score bonus victory points for whoever has that at the end of the game.
Why would you be that evil?
I apologize for nothing.
You gotta steal
Okay,
him.
great. Fair.
He's
Noted.
the child. Everybody wants the child. You know, you gotta steal him.
And then latent power shows that Grogu doesn't really know how to use his powers yet, so it's based on a die roll here on what effect you're going to get out of him using the Force. And it can do some really mean things. It can add a bunch of suppression, it can immobilize, it can heal people, it can remove poison. So, like, he's got all this stuff going on in there.
And Grogu also has a really important effect on where Din can be taken. If you decide you want to play Din with Grogu, you can only take them in Rebels because Grogu is a Rebel-only upgrade option. So if you want him to work for the Empire, he will do that. We obviously see him just kind of being a malicious bounty hunter to start. He's just a working man. He'll work for anybody. But once he meets little Grogu, his heart warms up, and he stops kind of, being willing to work for anybody in general. I think next we're going to talk about some of the upgrade cards that he has, and then probably go into some of the command cards. And they're both there.
Look at that.
Look at that.
The 2-for-1.
Look at that.
So the design on these two cards is sort of the first Atomic Mass Games philosophy applied to Legion upgrade cards and Legion command cards, which is you're going to see very irregular and not sort of standardized text on cards. So Din's Amban rifle here is a melee weapon that you can poke people with, which is great because he's stabbing people with it all the time in the game. They disintegrate and all that cool stuff. Or you can spend 2 of your actions, so that's the first time that's ever happened in Legion as well, is 2 actions to use this ability, and Din gets to move and then fire off a quick shot. But it's not an actual ranged attack. It's just roll a red die. If you roll a crit or a hit, it does a wound and gains the suppression, which can be very powerful, right? You have no chance to block it. There's no cover involved or anything like that. You can just apply suppression to people. So it gives that really different feeling than a normal ranged attack. And we also didn't want to give him like this really great ranged attack because we didn't want him to be a ranged fighter, right? So that was really the goal there, is to make this not a ranged focused character. And that was a really interesting and different thing to talk about the design for and the development for, is how do we make his rifle not make him a great ranged fighter while still sort of building into this idea of he's a close combat brawler, essentially. And then Whistling Birds it just makes me smile.
I remember when you initially came up with the idea for this, and we started doing some of the math on it. We were like, is this just too much? Is it not enough? And it went to playtest, and I love the idea behind this because it is just so, like you said, it's so different. It's very thematic. Playtesters had a blast with it. I know there was a lot of like, what?
There's a lot of like, you're crazy, you're not crazy, it should be white dice, black dice, red. Like, we went through all sorts of different iterations on this. And we came out with, once again, a very unique card that is vaguely similar and reminiscent to some of the older things, like the General Grievous command card lets him attack a bunch of people around him. Boba Fett has something very similar.
Oh, there you go.
No one was supposed to hear that yet.
That's right.
Not yet.
Maybe not at all. I don't know. We'll see. It's an adventure. But this is a very different take on that, and it's very powerful, right? It's also a 3-pip card, where most of these super powerful character-based cards are 1-pip cards, which lets you sort of get that initiative. But because it's a 3-pip card, it lets you play around it. You can get away from Din. You can do all this kind of stuff. So very interesting card. Very fun to work on and design on that one.
All right, so that is Mandalorian and Child. We're going to be moving on to some other bounty hunters, inspired by both the Mandalorian and the classic trilogy, and a bit of the Clone Wars. The IG Assassin Droid series, which is IG-88 and IG-11. So Marco, talk to us a little bit about these sculpts. Obviously, this pack will make both droids.
Yes.
And you do have some options in how you assemble each one. So
yeah, you have various you can actually get a few poses here with the arms. I even was able to play around with just the 2 bent arms to give it like that cowboy standoff pose like that. So like, it's definitely, again, emulating that Western feel on top of also just how these types of droids walk and work. We saw that in, I believe, the season 2 of Mandalorian with IG-11, how he walks around and it's very stiff but turns around 360. So we wanted to emulate that with the walking one as well.
Yeah.
And it also comes with a little melee weapon that you can glue on to the back as well as a little add-on bonus. And it's definitely it's fun. This pack is really fun to put together. And oh, my bad.
The gong.
The gong. That's my time, guys.
Your time is taken.
Goodbye, Marco.
Must move on. Okay, so I think we have artwork next. Now that Marco's been gonged off the
I know.
show, so goodbye, Marco. Thank you. Talking about that inspiration, here it is from season 1, that amazing opener where our little IG-11 went nuts.
He just went nuts. I love this piece. He looks so loose and free for a bot. Which, what? Pagani.
An assassin droid is never freer than when it's murdering masses of people.
Yes. What?
You gotta live your truth.
He is living his truth. He's having his best life at this moment.
Tony's just looking at you like, my God.
Maybe I should have been gonged off. Maybe.
Horror.
No, I love that. Like he is living his best murder droid life, and that's fantastic. I also love this echoes so much of how you can pose him in the miniature as well. So this piece is absolutely fantastic. I'm too distracted now. It's great.
I think we have the art for. So this is IG-11, IG-88.
See, living less of his best life, friends.
IG-88 always struck me as the crankier assassin.
Correct.
Droid, to be fair,
Yeah.
like he's a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
IG-11, full of life.
Full of life.
We're going to see a full of life IG-11 here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So-
And then the last piece is actually one of the programming cards for IG-11, which is nanny programming.
That's the best life right there.
Yeah.
So
Like, he's found his true purpose here, and he is now. He thought he was living his best life in
Yeah.
the previous one. This is really
He
still
realized,
murdering.
correct.
but with a heavy
But
dash of
baby.
love.
A heavy dash of love.
Okay, let's talk Devon design a little bit about nanny programming here, because this is really important.
Sure.
Here are the unit cards for both these guys. Pagani, take us through kind of the thoughts, what makes them different and unique choices. You'll see that IG-88 only works for Empire. IG-11 works for both Empire and Rebels.
Yeah, so I mean they're armored, so it's going to make them tankier than a lot of other units. And sort of the difference between the two is IG-88 has Arsenal 2, so IG-88 can create larger dice pools for shooting single targets. IG-11 has Gunslinger for hitting multiple targets at the same time.
Riffing off that season 1.
Absolutely. They're both impervious because you can't pierce them.
Armor.
Like they got that armor.
Yeah.
Which is going to make them better against lightsabers and piercing weapons in general. And then sharpshooter, because they're not throwing very large dice pools necessarily, that they need that sort of get through cover. And that shows that they're very deadly, very, very precise killers. And you'll notice IG-11 has a programming slot, which we mentioned just a moment ago, which could be nanny programming or another programming that I don't think we're going to talk about.
No, not
So I'm
yet.
not gonna-
We're going to save that for later. You
I'm not
gotta
going to
wait.
spoil that one here.
But you will spoil nanny programming.
Yeah, so nanny programming lets you add Grogu to IG-11, which is hilarious to me. I mean, look at that art; it's just fantastic. And then, of course, IG-11 gets more into a defensive protect Grogu mode, so that AI dodge or move, whereas the other programming will make IG a little more aggressive.
Yes.
And they're fighting, but we're not going to say much more than that on that one.
Yeah, so this was a really fun kind of way to, again, mimic the show with the rules and the art, because we do see IG-11 really take that protector role at the end of the season with Grogu after he's rebuilt and reprogrammed. And it also gives that kind of nice differentiation between 88 and 11, because you can companion Grogu with him. You don't have to.
They're hanging out; they're best friends.
They are.
There's some decent amount of customization that you can do when it comes to how you want to kit out your IG-11. So with that, I believe. Oh, there's a bunch of command cards, right? These guys all come with command cards.
There's a bunch of command cards.
4 of them, I think. Right?
Yes.
2 per and a general.
We're gonna maybe
That would be
see.
5.
We're not.
We're not.
according
I
to
said
the paper.
maybe.
There's nothing on this.
In the
paper.
future.
Oh, Tony is giving me the no face.
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
That's for the
there's-
future.
I think it might be 5 command cards.
Yeah. Did I say 4?
I said 4.
And then I made numbers
think
that
it's 2
added
plus
to
2 plus
5
1,
because
yeah.
I'm good at math.
Look,
Perfect.
that's why I'm here. Counting.
It's true. I'm not the math person. I don't make the Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of command cards for these, and there is a self-destruct one. I'll
Of
just throw that
course.
out there.
Of course.
So So there you go.
Okay, continuing on the train of things, we actually showed the sculpt for this, and I believe we had a stream where Dallas actually painted the studio miniature of it.
He did.
And that is Boba Fett, Daimyo of Mos Espa.
Yeah.
And
Look at
this
that boy.
I know.
is exciting on a lot of angles. One, new version of Boba Fett, amazing moments from the show, both The Mandalorian and Book of Boba, which this guy has design elements pulled from both. And of course, he is the first 100% start to finish AMG Legion miniature.
Yeah.
So big milestone for you and your team. Marco, talk a little bit about everything that went into it.
Yeah, I mean, this was pretty exciting because, I mean, this is the Boba Fett from The Mandalorian specifically.
Very specific.
So you made that very clear to us about that this miniature was going to be specifically that. But yeah, and it also comes with both head options of masked and unmasked, so you get to see Boba Fett with his classic helmet and, of course, with his post-Sarlacc pit look that he has in that season. And also just to give him that sort of dynamism that we really wanted to see as he showed in his fight scene with the stormtroopers. And it was really fun to see how we were able to get that onto the table. And then, of course, Dallas and his painters just make it just look so great from afar. And it's just a really cool design that we were lucky to start on and take all the way to finish.
My favorite part of all of this design was simply the bringing in a golf club and then the 500 different poses of how do you make a big swing look right.
Oh my god.
And we didn't destroy any computers, so, that's a win.
Great.
No walls were harmed.
Okay, let's take a look real quick at the art, and then we'll talk a little bit about his design. We'll take a look at the command cards and the stat card. Look at him.
Okay, so we've obviously, over the years, while the Star Wars games, done a lot of Boba Fett. But to be able to do Boba Fett at kind of this stage where, A, he's fixed up the helmet, everything's looking real sharp here, is very different from us. And it's not the full armor. I have to say, just the chromatic colory situation. I don't have art words, which is why I'm not a great press and replacement, but that's fine. On the front of his blaster is absolutely amazing.
And then next up is the unit card art.
Bang.
Look at him. So beautiful. We had a lot of discussions about Jabba's palace in the background.
Yes, we
which
did.
ultimately we won because of Book of Boba.
Yeah.
But we didn't know at the time.
Correct. So one of the other fun things about doing Boba at this point in his life is, he's older and kind of capturing, he's still got it, but, he's bigger now. Things are a little different. And the same thing kind of in the sculpting, capturing that different time period of him. And also, we got them great, swishiness in his Boba old man pants.
All right, let's take a look at, I believe his stat card is next. So let's talk about what defines the Daimyo of Mos Espa from this one.
From that one.
This is the new one.
Yeah. The new one.
He got me. I'm sorry.
Broke.
So this Boba Fett is a lot less aggressive than the original Boba Fett, which just received an update in the card pack here. So you're going to see a lot more sort of long-range fighter use out of him here. So you've got the independent standby showing that he is patient. He has learned a lot more about life and bounty hunting, or not bounty hunting in some cases, and just hanging out, doing whatever you're doing with your standby token. He's got Sentinel, so he can use that standby token a little bit better. He's got Sharpshooter, he's got Tactical, so if he does need to move, he can move with Tactical, gain his aim tokens, still be a very effective ranged fighter. So, yeah, this is sort of the theme from this Boba Fett that sets him apart from the original Boba Fett, is he is
Patient.
He's more wise, more learned.
More learned, yes.
And he is a lot less selfish. And I don't mean that in his character is less selfish. I mean his cards are less selfish.
Let's take a look at the
So we're gonna
command
talk
cards
about-
because that's a big thing.
His character is also less selfish.
He
For
is.
sure.
He's learned.
I
So
just don't
3
wanna make
command
assumptions
cards,
No, fair.
and all of those kind of play into that older, wiser kind of tribe mentality where he's looking to create a coalition.
Yeah, he's helping his buddies. His buddies are helping him, and that's great until he makes his way in the galaxy. And
And then he
very
just
angry.
messes things up.
and he pulls out that stick and just goes to town.
And just goes to town.
So,
Yeah, so these are really cool. They also work with, of course, original Boba Fett, so you get more options for the Empire version as well. Making his way in the galaxy, super terrifying
Yes,
on Empire Boba. So a very, very exciting time. The art obviously really pulled from the moment where he teams up with Din, and it's part of the thing that we looked at when we were playing and playtesting was these characters working together in thematic ways on the tabletop. Do they kind of complement each other? And I think Boba and Mandalorian, because you've got the Bruiser and Mandalorian, you've got the more supporting elements with this version of Boba Fett, the Daimyo. It's very fun, and it comes together really well to tell that story that we all saw in the amazing show. And of course, what are heroes, protagonists, without some amazing villains? So let's go ahead and show the last little bit from this first Mandalorian wave, and that is Moff Gideon and his Dark Troopers.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. So again, your team, Marco, pretty much start to finish on all of this stuff.
Yeah, this one was exciting as well because we had Dark Troopers that are flying.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But we really were stepping away from trying to use flight stands and really wanted to take advantage of these guys who have the ability of flight to use effects to lift them up and give them more action in their poses and just make it more intimidating, right? Especially that guy with the rocket launcher there.
Yeah.
Frag cannon, I believe that's called.
And you'll notice that, of course, like all Legion units, these guys have some heavy weapon options. Heavy weapons were really fun. We actually were able to go into the Lucasfilm archives, find some unused concept art pieces. So all of these are Lucasfilm designs that you didn't actually see in the show, but very cool. Let's see them painted, Tony. Just go forward. You don't have to wait for me. You got this. So the beautiful paint jobs that Dallas, Tony, and his team did to get everything done. Very sinister.
Very
Matches
sinister.
the art that we'll look at next here.
But that guy swinging that club, that is...
It's called a Myrtleizer,
I
ma'am.
know. I was going to let you spoil that.
The Myrtleizer.
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 And it is like...
Rhymes with turtleizer.
He's got so much attitude. And...
A common phrase in the ship household.
Yeah.
Turtleizer.
Yeah, turtleizer.
yeah.
Okay.
Sculpts, paints, everything's great.
Yeah, the artwork came in beautiful, really trying to capture the scene where they first come out of the hold. And then, of course, the Moff Gideon art for the unit. Iconic, beautiful. I think you had everything to do with it, with the TIE Fighter.
Yeah, yeah, that's the moment I wanted.
There it is. Look at him.
Look at him in all of his capey glory.
Capey glory.
Capey glory.
There you go.
Capes are pretty much the best
That's a new
thing.
thing.
out there, so
He's
I'm
got
here
a
for it.
cape and a dark saber, friend.
Okay.
Only had 2 capes.
Now, all of these guys are coming out in early 2023, so you do have a little bit of time to wait for them. But it's Ministravaganza, so we show all the things, or most of the things, 80% of the things, 70%
Things
of
that
the
we're
things.
like, now we're not
Some
going
of
to
the
show
things.
that thing. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and show the Dark Trooper unit card and really blow people's minds, because these guys are maybe the wildest thing yet.
That we've shown so far, for sure.
For sure.
Who knows what's coming in the future?
Who knows?
So there are... So Dark Troopers, the first thing you're going to notice, because I always look at upgrades first, is there's 2 heavy weapon slots. So there's 3 different heavy weapons for this unit. There's 2 heavy weapon slots. You can pick your favorite 2.
Yep.
And then they have a programming slot as well. We're going to show a little bit. One of their programmings. We're not going to show both, I don't think.
We don't have a programming card at all.
We don't have any programming.
No
cards.
programming.
Oh, that one's in the...
Yeah.
We're going to play with one of the programming
Yeah.
cards. There we go.
Watch the game stream if you want to see these guys in action.
So,
Spoiler.
and then there are 2 new keywords here, both of which are very, very exciting. There's Unconcerned, which says, these guys, you never see them duck for cover, right? They're always just like...
They weren't programmed for cover.
Chilling, walking down a hallway, blasting stuff.
Being unconcerned.
And they're also pretty high-tech, so normal people can't repair them or return them to play. And then Unstoppable is where the madness begins. Every unit in Legion only gets 1. It created a unit that nothing like this exists anywhere in Legion, right?
And it really came out of the idea that we wanted... You'll also notice that they're a heavy option, which I think is kind of one of those things that is surprising and different. But we wanted the idea of how do we make kind of an expensive unit that feels like a replacement for a tank and also can play well within the order economy of Legion. And the idea that we came through discussions that turned out not to be as crazy as we initially thought was, what if they can activate twice? And they give you 2 orders, so all of a sudden now your economy is very different. And of course, they work very well with Moff Gideon, who can take a lot of these guys, because there's boys, there's robot boys. This is just how it is. So Moff Gideon.
I want like a Robot Boys sticker.
Robot
on,
Boys,
like the top
yeah.
of a Dark Trooper helmet.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Gideon's boys. Okay, Gideon's boys.
There we go.
And of course, Moff Gideon. We're not going to show his stat card quite yet. We got to save some things for the future, but we will show you one of his command cards. There's the beautiful miniature with his flowy red cape.
The mustache.
And the Darksaber. Now, you do have options. You can equip him with the Darksaber as an upgrade card, as normally happens in Legion, or you can just leave him with his customary blaster pistol. And of course, the Darksaber is going to change his combat characteristics a bit and give him some advantages. We're just going to show the command card that he has that interacts directly with Dark Troopers. This one was quite the bear to get through playtest and make sure that it wasn't completely bonkers busted.
Yeah, so this essentially is the Dark Troopers coming down from the ship or redeploying, right? So, originally it was them coming down from the ship. So you would hold a unit of Dark Troopers off the table. They wouldn't deploy until later in the game. They can deploy anywhere they wanted. We didn't go with that. It was way too powerful to just show up whenever you want, to be super duper durable with your armor and two.
That
two
sounds
wounds
very
each.
enjoyable, though.
Yeah, well,
For one side,
one
it
side
definitely
is
was.
pretty
Definitely
other
was.
side, less
Yeah,
so.
so this just gives you some amazing repositioning, which
Yeah.
kind of makes up for their slow speed.
And I believe it takes one of their actions is where we ended up on this. So they don't get 2 activations that round. They only get the 1.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got to have a face-up order token. You flip a face down.
Yep, and it takes up one of their
Yeah.
activations.
So once again, that does mean though that they will get 1 of their activations.
Right.
So
Yeah, they still get to go once.
yes.
And then the last thing to kind of talk about with this, we mentioned battle forces. You're going to see an Imperial Remnant battle force.
It's so cool.
It's wild and crazy, and it really dives into the flavor of what we see in the show, which is, the Imperial Remnant is made up of a mishmash of all these different Imperial Trooper units that have survived kind of the destruction of the Death Star 2. They've been pulled together by powerful individuals like Moff Gideon, and they don't follow Imperial doctrine quite as closely as, the real Imperial Army does. So there's some mixing and matching that's allowed between your units and
You got to
stuff.
work with what you got.
That's pretty wild.
So
So that'll be coming out alongside these folks that, of course, focus on Gideon and the Dark Troopers as well as kind of the crazy Imperial Remnant idea. And we're very excited for people to see that. We'll be talking about more about that in the future, so stay tuned for that. I think we want to dive into organized play really quick, and then we got some Ewoks to talk about. So let's throw up Dynamic Exit really quick.
Yeah.
For those of you who love going to the stores, playing in different events, of course, we talked earlier about how Worlds is coming back finally to Adepticon 2023, and that will kick off the whole new circle psychic? I don't know. Circuit, whatever. Some
Both.
C word.
circuit cycle.
Cycle. Of competitive play for Legion with plenty of global qualifiers and opens. So that is very exciting. Again, watch for more information about events in your area. Simone, during opening ceremonies, did list the ones that we know about that have been set up and will be coming for the rest of the year. There may be more before Adepticon launches, and we will continue to update folks on that. So Worlds is back. We're very excited to kick off the new thing. We have lots of big plans as we get back into the normal cycle of things.
Yeah.
Dynamic Exit, though, great way to go in and play some fun, casual narrative event at your store with your community. Talk a little bit about what players can expect from the scenario before.
So Dynamic Exit is about a crack team.
Crack team. They're all crack teams.
All the crack teams.
I want like the C Squad team that doesn't know what it's doing.
That
To go
fumbles
in
its
and-
way to victory.
Yeah, it just has to fumble its way to victory.
We'll figure out how to make
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
fun and interesting. So it's a crack team infiltrating a base and trying to steal specific cargo. So you're kind of playing a shell game where there's these different cargo tokens around the table. You have to hack in, figure out which ones you're looking for, and it's randomized which ones you're looking for every round. So it's different every time you play the game. You'll have different things out there. You'll have to go to different places on the table. And there's sort of a espionage, flat-footed aspect going on. So don't trigger any alarms, and then that won't alert the guards. And then the player playing the guards has to wander around the table and well, I haven't sounded the alarm yet, so what can I do? So there's this whole be sneaky aspect to it, and you get this really interesting and really cool sort of hyper narrative experience of this it kind of reminded me of Solo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where you have Beckett and all them going to steal the train stuff,
Yep.
and it's once the alarm sounds, oh my god, the droids are out and
Everything's bad.
Yeah,
So it's a very different way to have a Legion experience.
Very, very, very different than a standard game of Legion.
And of course, like all of the store organized play kits that we do, players get all of the materials for the scenario that they get to keep. So you can always play it again with your friends in the future. It kind of goes into your catalog of game options, missions, and scenarios that you can play. So these are really cool ways for us to be able to expand the experience, give you more options and opportunities to play Legion in various ways with your massive collections of stuff. And just have a good time with your friends telling very cool stories on the tabletop.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, I think we're to the big thing.
I mean,
The Dark Troopers were the big thing?
The small thing. I mean, they're small.
Small.
They're small.
Big things come in small packages. That's what I was told.
Numerous.
I have heard this at least
Yeah.
once in my
And
life.
Home and Garden signs wouldn't lie to me.
Never.
Not once.
Never.
Not once.
No advertising.
So with that, you did announce these as well at Star Wars Celebration, and we showed them off.
And yeah, we had them in the case. They were
But
beautiful.
we're gonna just dive
have a
in
lot more to
and get
talk about
going.
today.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got.
I didn't talk
we got
about
all
any
the
of the dev
secrets,
things.
all the
Parts.
juiciness.
Yeah.
The
So
beautiful
show
arts.
that beautiful art. Look at that.
Look at them.
You can hear the Ewok like tribal music playing at the Endor Heritage Museum of Natural History as you look at this fantastic mural.
So yeah.
This is totally what that is.
This piece, Preston and the artist have worked so much on, and it is a natural history piece of the Ewoks. Expect to see this a lot because it's beautiful.
I mean,
We'll put it
the
on
artist made actual physical.
Maquettes, yeah.
Yeah,
Maquettes.
he did make a
this
maquette, so
piece.
he could really pose those Ewoks
Yep.
exactly, and it is just such a phenomenal piece.
And we showed, there's one more piece of art, I think, which is from one of the command cards with the Ewoks being super sneaky.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I've worn one of those Stormtrooper helmets, and you would
can't
not know that
You would not
anything was
see
behind it.
them.
You have
You
zero
could
idea.
not see them.
I feel so
You
much
could
more.
not hear them. You could not see them.
No, you'd mostly just hear yourself trying to breathe through the mask. Is
Yeah,
really
like
all
they
that
could
happens.
be in that tree giggling at you, and
you
you
would
would
know.
not.
You would know.
They look.
They are.
And we
Yeah.
and we
Look at
did we did show off the sculpts at Star Wars Celebration, but let's show them in all their glory one more time.
Yeah.
Marco, talk us through fairly quickly, how all this came together.
Yeah, this one was definitely the result.
Looks like they cut out for a second. I don't know if you guys are watching on live. It looks like they cut out on my side, so I'm just streaming with you until they come back on. Yeah, they everybody else is reporting that their stream is down, so I'm gonna stick with them here for just a second. If they don't come back, I think they might be coming back. Nope, their stream is out. Okay, so we are going to. All right, their stream is out at the moment, so we're gonna talk about all this stuff. They're just now getting into Ewoks, so I'm gonna do a recap at the end of the stream. We're gonna look at all the cards, all the spoilers, a lot of spoilers. Biggest surprise of the day so far: Dark Troopers. We're gonna be troopers that are a heavy unit, and they get to activate twice each round. They look insane. They brought back the plotting keyword, which I think is appropriate for a unit that is as nasty as they are, that also gets to activate twice. They seem really cool, but they seem so drastically different. Yeah, that is just insane. Again, we're going to look at all of the keywords. It depends how long it takes them to get... now, honestly, with their stream being down right now, I'm fearing the worst. Because as you know, a communications disruption can mean only one thing: invasion. So, yeah, I don't know. I just typed communications invasion. So let me see if I can load up some of the images that I have so far while we're doing all of our stuff. Right? We'll go ahead and get all of this good stuff. Let's see. Let's add all of the new pictures we're going to add. All of the new pictures we're gonna add. All the new pictures. There are the new pictures we're gonna add. All right. So while we're waiting for them to come back, let's talk about, we got Ewoks. Let's run through everything. First off, they started talking about Mando and Grogu. No, Mando and Grogu. Yeah, there we go. Mandu and Grogu, they give us some art. We got whistling birds. We've got the rifle. The rifle is very, very, very strange. I'm not gonna lie. And this is why I do the watch party, because it goes down. We get to talk about it, so we can keep the fun and the hype going. And if they do come back, then we'll switch back to them. So don't worry. If they come back, we'll instantly switch back over to here. There again, they are totally stopped. They are completely frozen. There's more to talk about for Ewoks, but we already have a lot of information about Ewoks. So we get a look at Din Djarin. Now, they didn't. They did show us both of these cards, so we're going to talk more about these in just a second. Let's talk about Din Djarin. Range 1 to 2. Bounty Hunter, Rebels or Empire. 105 points. 2 training. We got comms, 2 equipment, and of course a weapon. We've got Surge to Crit, Surge to Defense, Red Defensive Die, of course, Beskar, Mando. That's all great stats. 5 health, 3 courage, Speed 2, kind of standard. Lethal 1, Vibro Knife, and we've got his pistol, which has got 3 dice and is versatile. So if you're in range, or if you're in melee, you've got Arsenal 2, you can stab, and then you can shoot somebody else from being in melee. That's what versatile means. Lethal 1 and Long Shot 1 both give you extra ways to spend aim tokens. Lethal 1 means you can spend an aim to gain a pierce. Long Shot 1 means you can spend an aim to increase the range. Both of those have to be spent before you, of course, before you roll dice. And of course, you're going to be gaining extra aims because you have tactical ones. So anytime you move, you get an aim token. Independent aim 1 and dodge 1. So if you don't have an order token, you're going to start with a free aim and a free dodge, which is insanely good. He's going to be hard to kill, which is glorious. I think that's probably the best word for the day. This guy looks like he's going to be really fun. Now, his only weakness is that he is only range 2 normally. But of course, starting with a free aim token, you can easily make him give him a range 3 shot. It's only going to be 3 dice if you try to do range 3. So the idea for this guy is they want you to get up and close and personal with him. He is meant to be kind of a brawler. Now, earlier I could have sworn AMG said that he would be getting his spear. However, I haven't seen that in any of the artwork, and I also have seen that they said pretty much he'd be exclusive to Mando Season 1. I think the spear was more of a Season 2 thing. So maybe they just added that later on, but they did specify he will definitely not have the Darksaber, at least in this version of him. They could always do more versions of Mando in the future. I'm sure they probably will at some point. I'm wondering if AMG has said anything. AMG says hang tight. Our mechanics are working on it. No problem there. We'll hang tight. Grogu is also going to be an option. Counterpart, 17 points for just 1 extra health, and he's small, kind of like Iden Versio. So if you played Iden with her droid, you can't shoot Grogu directly. He's small. He's not targetable, right? I'm not sure if it's a great idea to bring Grogu or not, because if he is defeated, replace the mini with an unclaimed asset token, and then he can never be restored. So you can't just heal and bring him back. Each trooper unit gains the ability to claim him, and then he's going to be worth a victory point. So they must have changed this a little bit. At some point, they were talking about like you could claim him and use his powers or something like that. At least that was the implication. So now we have better. I guess they're using his power to gain a victory point. So that's kind of how that works. So he's going to be worth a point at the end of the game. So that's kind of like a liability. Like, do I really want to bring Din Djarin, because if he dies, my opponent could get a victory point? That's rough. We got a super chat from JM. What's going on, JM? Thank you for the super chat. I might have missed your message otherwise, and it's a great way to help support the channel. So thank you. Boom, fist bump right there. Din Djarin, JM is asking, what faction is the Mando? So the Mando is a mercenary. This is one of the new things. He's the credits ship symbol in the top left means he's a mercenary. You can only take 1 mercenary in a faction if that mercenary can go into your faction. Currently, the 2 smaller symbols you'll see up in the top left corner, they're, say, Empire or Rebel. So Din Djarin can work for the Rebels. He can also work for the Empire, but you can only bring 1. You wouldn't be able to bring like him and Boba Fett in the Empire, unless, of course, you had Underworld Connections, which is a card which gives you the ability to take an extra merc. Again, I plan on probably doing a whole separate video talking about how mercs work and all of that very, very soon, but for now, Din Djarin is the first available bounty hunter to go into them and into the rebels, which is really, really cool. It also appears that this guy was started under FFG because they went through great rounds to talk about how Boba was the first mini designed by AMG from start to finish. So Din Djarin may have been, I'm assuming Din Djarin was probably in the works under FFG when things came over and was finished up under AMG. That's kind of how I guess it is. I don't think that really matters a whole lot, but it'll be interesting to see who worked on this one when the credits come out. So I'll be definitely looking at that very closely. I'm curious. Always curious about these things. Since I personally know a lot of the people who have worked on all of these games, I always like to see whose kind of fingerprints are on each thing. And it's also nice to thank the people who've brought these games to us. So, Arsenal 2, again, he can attack using 2 minis. He's got Bounty, but he wants to be in melee, so it's going to be meaning he's going to be a little bit of a liability, right? Impervious, independent aim and dodge, and tactical 1. But Grogu is a liability to bring on there. But he has the latent power. So, yeah, you're getting 1 more health. I don't think the health is a good thing, because he's only got the 1 health, and if you lose him, if you lose that health, all of a sudden you lose Grogu, and you can potentially lose the game. If an enemy has claimed it. So, again, even if you reclaim Grogu, you're not gaining an extra victory point that. It's only if the enemy gets it. So you gain very little. So what do you actually gain? You gain latent power. At the end of your activation, you can gain a suppression token to roll a red defense die. On a surge, again, there's only 1 surge there, choose an enemy unit range 1 of this mini, and they gain 2 suppression and 2 immobilized tokens. So that's awesome, but in 1 in 6 chance, you might get that once in a game. More than likely, you won't get that at all in a game, because out of all those 6 tokens, they'd have to be range 1 of you, so you're not going to get that every round, right? On a blank result, you remove a wound or a poison token from a friendly non-droid trooper unit at range 1 of this mini, which can be Mando. So I guess that's the thing. You're hoping to roll a blank red, but there's only 2 blank reds, or is there 1? Yeah, so it's 2 blank reds, 1 surge, and then 3 blocks. So you've only got a 2 out of 6. I mean, I guess you got a 50% chance of him doing something good, but if you roll a block, he does nothing at all. So I don't know if you really want to take Grogu, right? That's my thoughts here, I don't know if you really want to take Grogu. And I think that's kind of cool, because 17 points isn't cheap, So, yeah, that is definitely it. All right, what else? We got Whistling Birds. Whistling Birds is awesome. Awesome. Love it. 3 pip, but only Din Djarin, right? Okay. Which also means you won't get your dodge and aim, because you will have issued an order to yourself. During his activation, he gains a certain for 1 action, choose up to 3 enemy units at range 1 and in line of sight. For each of the chosen units, roll 1 white attack die. For each mini in that unit. So it's kind of like a flamethrower. He's kind of getting a flamethrower against 3 nearby units. So he wants to jump in the middle of everybody and activate this. The problem is, it's a 3 pip. So you're going to have a hard time trying to go first in the perfect position. So what you're probably going to have to do is you're probably going to have to play this card and then move into position and then go, knowing that somebody else is probably going to try and shoot you first. Or if somebody has an immobilize, you're going to be screwed. So that's going to be the trick. It's a powerful card, but your opponent's going to see it coming. This seems like this is his Palpatine Force Lightning, where if you're running Din Djarin, so I can't stay grouped up. I got to prepare for that Whistling Bird's turn, which is really, really hard. Or just give him comms relay. Yeah, I suppose that is definitely a way to go. But the problem with that is, if you play Whistling, you want to activate Din as soon as possible before he gets killed before he can do this, right? Now, comms relay is definitely a possibility. I don't know if I would want the aim that bad. I think I'd just rather go while everybody's still close, because you need 3 different units, each with a lot of minis at range 1 to get the biggest impact from this. So chances of that are going to be fewer and far between. Although against Ewoks, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, it might be better. The Ambon rifle looks just super strange to me. I don't know how to feel about this thing just yet. I guess it's going to be good in melee. So it's a melee-only weapon. Ish. It's a melee weapon. It's got the 3 dice. It's got Immobilize 2 and Suppressive. Immobilize is awesome, frankly. And Suppressive is cool. Immobilize 2 is extremely awesome. It just is. So Immobilize has become one of the most popular keywords in the game recently. since it's showed up in so many more things. No. I'm talking about the top part. Yes, I recognize that it's also units in line of sight for the special effect. I'm talking about just the weapon portion of it. And so the Ambin rifle, for the first part, it can certainly combo with your vibro knife because you have arsenal too. So if you are in melee with somebody, especially somebody that you had a bounty on, you can now roll 5 dice, which is pretty good, especially with you got surge to crit, right? Now, even though you have jump, you're only speed 2, though, right? Some Mandalorians are speed 3, but you're only speed 2, so you're a little bit slower. That's the thing. So then you have this secondary effect for the Ambin rifle, is to take that shot, but it's not an attack. And so it's just so strange because while all other sniper things are technically an attack, this one is not. It's just 2 actions. If you're not engaged, perform a speed 1 move, then choose an enemy unit in line of sight, roll 1 red attack die. If the result is a hit or a crit, the chosen unit suffers 1 wound and gains 1 suppression token. So since it's not an attack, Guardian won't work, dodge tokens won't work, impervious won't work, immune to pierce won't work. Like, he can snipe Palpatine. He can just put a wound on Palpatine every round, which is a big deal, right? That really is a big deal. Sorry. Dealing with the bad dudes. All right. Good deal. Gotten rid of the bots. But yeah, I think the Ambin rifle's going to end up being good. But I wonder if it's going to lead to a negative play experience, knowing that you've got a unit on the far side of the board that from anywhere, right? Anywhere in the game can just make you suffer a wound. Like, ooh, I don't know how good that's going to feel. I guess we'll see. It talked about the IGs a little bit. Got some great artwork. Great artwork. IG-11 is going to have protocols. Yeah, there's no defense roll. It's not an attack. It's impossible to get. Like, medics might be more important now than ever, I guess. I don't know. They've already been important. We got IG-88 and IG-11. IG-88, 110 points. Armor 1, Arsenal 2, Bounty, Impervious, Sharpshooter 1, 3 different weapons. He's got the melee, 3 dice, Pierce 1. He's got the range 3, Pierce 1 versatile, and he's got a range 4, which is, again, he's going to be rolling 6 dice, 3 of each in a range attack if it's between 1 and 3, but he can also reach out at range 4. He can split fire. He's got surge to crit, which is going to be really good. Does he have independent? He does not. He is certainly... Wait a second. Where can IG-88 go? What is he thinking? Can he go only in the Empire? Yeah, it looks like IG-88 is Empire only. IG-11, however, is Empire or Rebels. Has Armor 1, Gunslinger. I always like Gunslinger. It makes up for, I guess, the Arsenal 2 thing, so you get to do two different attacks. Impervious, Programmed, and Sharpshooter 1. Programmed is going to be interesting. We got to look at one of the programmed cards. Also, IG-11 only has Surge to hit, not Surge to crit, so IG-88 is a little bit more dangerous. Right? A little bit more. By the way, if you guys were watching the stream, AMG's stream is still down right now. Their stream is not up yet. We will be switching back to it if and when they do bring it back up. It's unclear if it's going to come back up right now. They're having some kind of, network issues or something. They do have people working on it. So we're just recapping everything they have already talked about at this point. And there's a lot, so this is good. And this is why you watch. This is why we do the watch party, because, like I said before it all started, technical difficulties exist. If you are tuning in, we already announced we're going to be giving away one of these. I'm going to do this one now, actually. But we also have a Force Push, which is going to be in Discord. So jump in Discord. We have a giveaways channel. You can... I haven't posted this yet. Once the stream is over, I'll go ahead and upload this into Discord, and you can react with a double critical emoji if you want to win this, and I'll announce the winner in about a week. I'll be doing a giveaway, probably, multiple giveaways over the course of this weekend, so there will probably be more things than just this in the Discord, so check back frequently. Plus, there's still a painting competition going on right now, so you can check that out. Also, they have different channels for all the different games. We're family friendly there, so try not to go cursing up a storm and stuff like that. That's generally we try to stay very family friendly and in a nice place for gaming. All right, so let's look at nanny programming. Nanny programming looks awesome. IG-11 only. He gets to take Grogu, and he also gains AI dodge move. Dodge and move is I guess pretty good, but he's got Grogu on him, so that's kind of cool, you know. It's a free programming too, since he has to take a programming. This one's free, but I guess you know what's weird to me. The way that this is written, just because he's nanny programming, you don't have to bring Grogu, right? If Grogu gains counterpart IG-11, that doesn't mean you have to bring him. This could just be a free programming. You just give him AI dodge and move for free. I wonder if that was intended. I wonder if they're going to errata this. Because it doesn't say you must equip Grogu. This just says you can equip Grogu. So for me, this sounds like AI dodge move. It really, the light is going to be shined on this once you see what the other programming does, because they did say it would be more aggressive. It's 17 points with Grogu. That's correct. So, Chad is saying it's 17. Why would you want to add AI? You must. You must add an AI. The idea is programmed. Does say you must equip a programming upgrade card. So you have to choose at least one. However, this is a free option. Now, I'm guessing the other one will be a better, because the other one, maybe the aggressive one doesn't have an AI, or maybe it does have an AI that's attack or something like that, but maybe it gives you something else. Maybe it's an AI aim that also gives you something else. I don't know. But yeah, the way I'm reading this, there's nothing that says that you must equip Grogu. So I think that's pretty cool. Why does this keep coming back up? I keep reporting it, and it keeps coming back up. Yeah. I don't know how that keeps happening. But yeah, so that's we keep getting bots jumping in. That's how you know the stream is doing well. We keep getting bots jumping up in channel. All right, so we talked about Boba Fett. We got the Boba Fett. This is specifically Boba Fett from Mandalorian, not Boba Fett from Book of Boba Fett. So if there's something that he did in the Book of Boba Fett, you probably will not see it in this particular version. Although it is possible there could have been some late game additions, but he was certainly designed with his appearance in The Mandalorian in mind. The other AI could be given bounty. That's a great option. So we got some great artwork again. Like Simone talked about, kind of like this kind of hue, the difference of hues in the gunmetal here at the beginning of the barrel here. It's like very, very cool. It looks really good. Great artwork done on these pictures. And they decided to go with Jabba's palace in the background before they even knowing about the Book of Boba Fett. So all pretty cool stuff. That tells you like how early they start working on these, because obviously they started working on this probably before theoretically even the finale of Mando season 2. So pretty cool. The Book of Boba Fett version has completely different pants after. Yes, I agree. Yeah, that is another distinction. So there's definitely. I mean, you do still have the knee rockets in here, but he didn't have like those thigh plates and stuff like that. You know, so he definitely made some adjustments, which is cool. Which is very cool. So we got a Book of Boba Fett. Wow, this came out a little grainy. I'll have to go back and get better images for later, but we can get a look at him. He can work for Empire. No, I'm sorry, just Rebels only, or Rebels only right now. Because he's a merc, he could always be included in other battle forces. I think they're coming back? Are they getting ready to come back? No, not yet. I'm going to be on the lookout. AMG may be getting ready to start up their stream again. That is a possibility. So as soon as they do, I'll be switching back over. Let's go through the rest of this stuff. We got Boba's command cards. I'll talk about those afterwards, because I haven't even really read those yet. Well, I guess I'll read over them right now. Let's do it. I don't have to get through too much. I'll come back because I want to talk about the Dark Troopers, Gideon and the Dark Troopers. That was the biggest thing. We got Moff Gideon with the Darksaber. We got Dark Troopers. Some of them are feet planted on the ground. Some of them have some kind of dynamic posing. Gideon is kind of. I like this as much as I'm not usually a fan of the tactical rock stuff. This is him kind of as he was stepping out of the TIE fighter. right? He's bent a little bit. I do hope his base is separate from his feet, so if you want to pose him on something else, you can do that. I hope that's like in the sculpt. These guys look incredible. They look absolutely incredible. There's Gideon. See, like that's the image, right? Like if I want to put him on a TIE fighter, I want to be able to do that. I think that'd be really cool. These guys, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Red defense die with armor. They're going to be hard to kill. Only crits can get through, right? Unconcerned. They cannot benefit from cover, and miniatures in this unit cannot be repaired or restored. They're just, and that's, again, they're hard enough to kill, and that's going to be fine. They have 2 health each, though, so one hit still isn't going to bring one down. They're heavy. They're heavy. The stream is back. Why isn't it working? The stream is back, but there's nothing happening yet. There we go. All right. Let me refresh.
Run us through that one more time.
There we go. Sorry.
Like I was saying before, I was canceled on our regular scheduled program.
There's
You
no
were
gong
gonged,
this time.
yeah.
I was gonged.
The gong was the warning shot.
No, that these were a successor to our practice with Grogu and making small-scale miniatures at this level of detail, because it is just so small that we're trying to get it more stylized so we can make it easier for people to really shine with their abilities to paint all the different diverse fur colors and patterns that the Ewoks have, and showcase like all the variants and differences, as well as that we provide the options of both the spears and also the slings that you can see on the screen there.
Yep. So the unit that you're going to get, the Ewok warrior unit, can make either the melee Ewoks or it can make the ranged Ewoks. So spears or slings. There are a couple different heavy options in the kit. Well, there's 2.
There's definitely,
There's one heavy and one specialist, which is the trapper and the big old
the honking axe guy.
axe Ewok, Hit you with
Watch
his
out for
stone
that
axe.
axe. That axe
It's
is not
impressive.
messing around.
It's impressive. And then we have a couple of Ewok characters. We have Wicket and Logray. And this is our Logray. Look at him in all his beauty coming out. And we're going to talk a bit more about Wicket and the Ewoks in general. So why don't you take us through kind of the whole like analyzation, everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
Important to note that these will be coming out in like late Q2 next year, probably around the 40th anniversary of a very famous movie called Return of the Jedi.
I've never heard of it.
Never heard
we got
of it.
lucky.
Small
We got lucky.
indie.
Yeah.
It's better to be lucky than good. That's how it works.
Is true.
So you do have some time to wait. We're not going to be showing any specific cards, but we did want to kind of dive in, talk more about the dev and design, what to expect from the units, kind of what to expect from the battle force.
So there's a battle force.
There's a battle force.
That's step 1.
Obviously.
It's a rebel battle force.
Yes.
So you'll be playing rebels with your Ewoks. You can also... The Ewoks are mercenaries. So they can also go into normal rebel lists. The battle force... Where do you want to start? You want to start with battle force?
Look, I think the first thing is to talk mercenaries. So
Mercenaries, yes.
I think this is really important. We've talked about this a couple of times, especially with Shadow Collective. Mercenaries and having that in Legion has unlocked so much potential for the game and where we can go. Because in the past, the idea that the Rebels would ship Ewoks off of Endor to fight in battles that they were never at breaks the whole...
So much. It breaks
It breaks the authenticity. One of the things that we talk about a lot with LFL is authenticity. Legion is not meant to be a reenactment necessarily. It has a lot of player choice and decision making, and you get to create your own lists, and you kind of get to tell your what if stories. But there's an authentic nature to Star Wars, and our responsibility as stewards to it. That means that we have to have ways in which players can play canonically and play reenactment if they want, but also that, the sandbox is really big, but there are borders to the sandbox. And having the mercenary ability to do things like Ewoks, where if you want to play the what if they had shipped off the Ewoks as like auxiliary troops, you can do that. But it's within it's a very small box. But it's within a certain like scripture of the game. So you're not going to see Luke Skywalker leading an entire army of Ewoks in his commander guides, because that's not what happened. If you want to play a lot of Ewoks, you're going to be looking at the battle force, which gives you the tools to make a more thematic and canonical Return of the Jedi Endor battle. Or you can do the what if and take them as mercenaries and mix some into your army, but you're going to have more limitations and restrictions. And this, again, has really opened the door for a lot of things that we see in Star Wars that are super cool, but don't necessarily fit perfectly into this would be everywhere in the faction. So that's kind of the mercenary angle. So go ahead and let's talk about the battle force now and play styles of Ewoks, all the stuff.
Yeah.
All the
so
stuff.
Ewoks are very small.
They're very small.
Very small. And they come in large groups. So your Ewok units are going to be very large. They're not going to be the normal 4 to 5 man units. And you get a lot of them. So the battle force lets you take a bunch of Ewoks of all sorts of different ranks and stuff. It also has some rebel troopers that you have to take because that's the battle that we're talking about.
Specifically,
here.
the rebel commandos are featured
Correct,
pretty
yes.
heavily in it.
Yeah, I guess troopers is specific, but rebels will be there. And then the battle force also gives you the option to sort of take all of the main characters that were at the Battle of Endor as well. So you can kind of play this very heavy operative list, or you can play this very Ewok focused list of a pile of Ewoks.
Just a pile
An endless
of Ewoks.
tide of Ewoks.
It's the official term.
Yes, the unit size is pile. It just says that on the card, very small. But yeah, so the Ewoks are a very melee-centric army, right? We're not seeing a ton of ranged fighting out of the Ewoks here. They have slings, they have bows and arrows, they have very primitive ranged weapons. So you're going to have your unit of spear Ewoks. They're your close combat unit. They poke things. That's what spears do. You could throw it, I guess. Ewoks haven't figured that one out yet. And then you have your ranged units. So there's 2 different units of Ewoks that come inside the one box, as Shik explained. And then you get all sorts of different attachments and stuff. So you get your axe Ewok, you get your trapper Ewoks, and those really change how the units function. The trapper Ewoks will give you traps.
Like log traps?
Like log traps.
Like log traps.
Yes, so there are log traps. And then you also get sort of these characters, and these characters are really important for leading the Ewoks because Ewoks aren't great with morale. We see them running around all the time being like, there's explosions. So the Ewok battle force has some interesting rules around how suppression works for the Ewoks, how it affects them sort of more than normal armies, and stuff. And these characters really help them deal with that.
Yeah, they're not an organized military force, right?
They are Yub Nub.
They're Yup Nub.
Yeah.
So the idea, you think about those iconic scenes, right? And when they have the upper hand, it's going very well. The second that things start to turn against them, self-preservation kicks in. They're still kind of they have that wild animal instinct of well, I'm not really fighting for anything. They're not thinking about imperial galactic domination. They're thinking about I want to survive.
Or are they?
Or are they? And there's a bigger plan afoot. They are an extremely potent anti-infantry army.
Yes.
In terms of their ability to get in position. They have a lot of tricks when it comes to moving through terrain well, setting up ambushes, using traps. Of course, if you've watched the movie, spoiler alert, the one thing they're not good at, taking down heavy armor.
Yep. So that's sort of one of the weaknesses of this battle force is that it's not great at destroying vehicles unless you take very specific things that are very expensive in points. Tony, I believe we have an art piece to show. Yeah, that's the one. So
if you ever wanted to own an ATST, but you only played Rebels, the Ewok Battle Force is your chance.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
It is. This is the point where we talk again about things that Preston hides and sneaks into art. I don't know if we have the full one, but if you just zoom in real close on your computer, because that's where you're watching this, you will be able to see those adorable little Ewoks
In the
there.
windows
In the windows. They're driving. They're driving. They're pulling levers. They're figuring it out.
They're figuring it out.
They're quick learners. Quick learners.
Quick learners. It's written on the card.
learners.
It's not written on the card. Yeah, so one of the things that's really cool about the Ewok Battle Force is you're going to get a couple new unit cards in there that take currently existing miniatures or units and gives you new ways to play with them.
Cool.
And specifically, it is the moment where the Ewoks and Chewbacca commandeer an ATST.
Yeah.
And you get to drive it around and blow things up.
You know, I never thought we would make an ATST with incognito, but
There it is. Yeah.
I mean, he's not very incognito in that art, I guess. But
That's after they've spoiled it, you know? That's
the
after they've
surprise,
spoiled it.
the surprise has been sprung.
This unit also gives inspiring.
It does.
I would be inspired.
Is a huge, which is like Pagani you were talking about, one of the units that can help you kind of mitigate one of the weaknesses of the Ewoks, which is their vulnerability suppression, and their likelihood that they're going to lose actions and panic much quicker than some normal troops. But overall, it takes a very cunning play strategy to get the most out of Ewoks. If you run them into a gun line, it's not going to go well for you. If you use the terrain to your advantage and use the innate skills and tactics of the Ewoks, you're going to have a very good time once you get in there. You're going to yub-nub your way to victory.
I do have a question, Shake. If your armor is fur that is flammable and you're being shot with lasers, how do you think that works out?
Probably not well. I mean,
not
I saw a lot of them just not make it.
Poor little guys.
Pour one out to my yub-nub buddies.
Fantastic.
Is there anything else that we want to talk about in terms of the Ewoks in general? Logray might be nice to talk a little bit about his role in the army.
Sure.
He's very much a support piece.
Yeah, I guess the Ewok characters that are not wicked, right, are very support-oriented. They're going to help out their troops. They're going to help out with suppression. They're going to help out with tokens. They're going to give Ewoks things to help them get there, right? One of the sort of downfalls of melee armies in large-scale combat games is they don't always get there. And if you can't poke them with your stick, you can't win the game. So those will help them kind of poke.
Move forward and get through. And there's some really fun command cards.
The command cards are wacky. Oh,
Secret Ingredients is a great one.
Secret Ingredients is great. My favorite of all of the upgrade cards that were designed for Ewoks is Insatiable Curiosity, which allows Ewok units to steal heavy weapon upgrades from other units and destroy them.
Yub-nub your way to victory.
That's
Yub-nub
right.
it right to
right.
victory.
That's how you do it.
So, because, you see the Ewok jump on the speeder and zoom off.
Little
and stuff,
Poplu
and they're
zipping off.
zipping off, and they got to tinker. They
Now-
got to tinker.
So lots of great Ewok stuff is coming. There's going to be a lot more information. We're going to be spoiling unit cards and command cards and all this stuff as we get closer to their release. But what would the Ewoks be without a protagonist to fight against? And that, of course, is Tempest Force, which is the Imperial force that's garrisoned on Endor. And that will be a brand new battle force for the Imperials as well. It will allow you to create a very scout-centric themed army, similar to the one that we see during those battles. So if you like scout troopers, you like speeder bikes, it's going to be kind of like ATSTs. It's going to be great. And if you want to reenact your own Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary Battle of Endor on your Legion tabletop, these two battle forces are going to be a great way for you to be able to do that and kind of play within the themes that were present in those battles. The Imperial one also introduces a brand new ATST character to go against the Chewbacca character as well. Who was one of the commanders.
A lot of ATSTs.
So many ATSTs. So many ATSTs. Because they're cool, and that's what you see at the battles. But yeah, so it's going to be a really fun and thematic release. Really excited to bring Ewoks in. Like we talked about with Shadow Collective, now Ewoks, there's so much more in store for the future in terms of kind of these little mini factions that are supported through battle forces and also update and increase the scope and options for main factions. It's been a really great time to be in Legion development and to be looking at these things. And we couldn't be more excited for the things that are coming next, post Ewoks, because there's just so much content.
There's so much. I am going to make a announcement about San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, please do.
Okay, so San Diego Comic-Con next week. We, Schick, Dallas, and I do have a panel about Legion. It will be on Friday, July 22nd at 3 p.m. in room 7AB. Join us. It's the Lucasfilm room. They'll be talking about all sorts of Star Wars stuff all day. And we will be there from 3 to 4 talking about Legion.
More Legion.
And that's in California, so it's
That is
Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific Standard Time. Correct. And cool. We would love to see you there.
Yeah, so with that, I think we're pretty much wrapped up with everything that we have on our white sheets. Just pulling more.
I looked up my secret thing that I forgot, so we're ready now.
So there you go. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us for this panel. Thank you for bearing with us as our internet decided to just go away for a short break. It went on coffee break. It's unionized. It's fine.
Yeah, perfect.
It gets its 15 minutes like everyone else. Be sure to tune into the next one. We're going to be painting Din Djarin and talking about how to approach that cool miniature and just hanging out, putting some paint on.
Yep.
Later on, we've got an X-Wing panel where we're going to be talking about all the X-Wing stuff. We have an X-Wing game, which Simone Elliott is going to promise not to make Plumber cry on stream as she bullies him again.
I did not promise that.
Well,
That was not a promise.
That was not a promise. It was a threat.
There's a threat. And
would
so much more
never.
content coming to you. We're going to be having a Legion game where we're going to be showing a lot of the stuff that we just previewed from the Mandalorian wave on the tabletop. So if you want to see Old Man Boba, you want to see Din Djarin and Grogu, you want to see IG-88 all in action, That's going to be happening tomorrow during the Legion gameplay stream. So tons more to come. Thank you for joining us. Till the next one in like 10 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Even less time.
Bye.
All right. So that's that was it. Yeah, I know the screen went down for a second there. I was trying to load up the rest of the images, so I'm just gonna kind of go with what I got here. They were wrapping up, so that was weird why it went black like that. So I'll look into that before the next stream. But yes, so gosh, what else were they talking about? I think we'll just pick up right where we left off. All the Din Djarin stuff, you know, and then the IG stuff. Those were kind of things we already knew about. This was pretty new. They had certainly hinted about Moff Gideon and Dark Troopers, and now we got our first real look at them. They look amazing. They look really cool. I can't, like, they look much taller than, like, the size looks really good. Like this one right here holding this, like, this sword, right? They called it a Myrtleizer. I guess that was the official name. The Myrtleizer. When is X-Wing? X-Wing will be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be in about 2 hours and 5 minutes. I'll be starting that one a little bit prior. So what is plotting for Dark Troopers? Great question. Let's go back to the unit card. All right, so they have armor. You're already familiar with the armor keyword. That's going to cancel all non-crits once all the dice are said and done. Plotting is a keyword that first showed up on the eWeb that eventually got errated and is not in-game anymore, but now it's finally making its triumphant return. It's a bad keyword. It means that during this unit's activation, it may not make more than one move action. So you can only move one time if you have plotting. This was initially one of the reasons people did not take the eWeb very often, because it was a slow unit and you wanted to move it maybe twice sometimes. So yeah, if you just got here, we're going back through everything again. The Dark Troopers are plotting, so they can only move once. However, that is mitigated by the fact that they can activate a second time, which is nuts. So, what are we looking at here? Dark Troopers look insane. They just look absolutely insane. They have unconcerned. That's also a negative. So they have two bad keywords, right? They have plotting and unconcerned, which is bad. Now, if we look at the base unit here, they're a heavy. You get 3 minis, right? So you're going to start with two health each. So that's 6 health worth of guys that are going to be hard to kill. You've got a red defense die and armor. So it's going to be real hard to get wounds through on these guys, but they can't be healed or restored, so every wound you get through really counts. However, there's going to be more than 6 because they have 2 heavy options. You're probably going to want to bring 2 heavy options. That'd give you like at least 4 more health, which I'm guessing will be really good because their regular E11D blaster is only a single black die. So as they're doing their trudging across the battlefield, if they want to shoot you, which they're going to want to shoot because they can only move once, so you're going to move and definitely shoot, right? You're going to make the regular guys die first. Your heavies will almost certainly have better attacks, like some of these rocket launcher guys, or this Gatling gun guy. You got these flying dudes, right? And now granted, they do have flying, but the unit doesn't have flying. So there's a command card that actually shows that. And then they have, what is that, a programming thing? I don't guess you don't have to give them a program, so you can. We got to look at Moff Gideon over here. He looks good. Again, I do hope the base is a separate sculpt from the foot. I hope you can put him on, like if I want to give him a TIE fighter or something like that, a TIE fighter's hull that he can be standing on instead of that base, I'd like the option to do that. So without having to completely exacto the whole thing, and I'm sure there will be a way. I'm sure there will. That'll be fun. And then you've got this. You have Something I Want. So this one's interesting. It's one of the command cards. I think it's the only command card they gave us from this particular pack. It cannot be chosen during the first round. So it's a 2-pip Moff Gideon. It can activate 2 units. After orders have been issued, choose a friendly Imperial Dark Trooper that has a face-up order token. Now, it doesn't have to have been given one from this card. You could do HQ uplink or something like that. Remove that unit from the battlefield, keeping all tokens. Then place it on the battlefield beyond range 2 of all enemy units. Then flip their order token face down. So the idea is that they're using their jump jets. And so their jump jets can get them closer to the battle, but not directly on top of other people. So this is going to be a really good turn 2 play. I could see this being a problem turn 1. I could see, because it's hard to kill as they are, and because they are troopers. That means they can interact with objectives. They can grab objectives, and of course that makes sense. They do that in this particular scene, which is kind of a big deal. So yeah, they look pretty good. We're going to talk more about Dark Troopers in the future. The dynamic exit is pretty awesome too. We were also gonna. Oh, I did say I was gonna give away that other card from earlier. Let's go ahead. Let's see who gave us that. I gotta scroll up. There we go. All right. So our winner for our clone and DC-15 double-sided, DC-15 and E5CB1 is going to go to Glargify, Glarrgify. Glargify, congratulations. You are the winner for the stream giveaway. So go ahead and shoot me an email, and I'll get your shipping information. His email is mailcrabbok@gmail.com. Also, if you wanted to win the Force Push, the limited alternate art Force Push with Anakin and Asajj Ventress, you can go ahead and jump in Discord. We'll be doing that. Is going to be listed as soon as the stream ends, as well as other giveaways will happen all weekend, and then we'll also do some more on Patreon as well. So I'll be getting more giveaways, so stay tuned for that. You won't want to miss. The next stream is hold on, before I do next stream stuff, let me get through all the rest of the stuff they talked about. The dynamic exit is the next OP kit that's going to have alternate art Maul in there. We've already given one of those away. We have another one of those. How do you know if you won a regular channel giveaway? You have to watch my videos to the end. I usually announce winners at the end of a video. The current lightsaber giveaway is going to run until, I want to say, hold on. It's going to run through Gen Con. I think at the end of August, we're going to be announcing the winner for that one. So you have a lot of time left to enter. And then, of course, we talked about Ewoks. Lots of Ewok talk. There's some great art here. And I think that's about it for Ewoks. They showed us some of the same images we've seen for Ewoks already. They didn't really give us, outside of the art, they gave us a new Chewbacca art, which looked kind of cool. They talked about Logray being a support unit, which we kind of already guessed. You'd be able to use Rebel Commandos as well as some of the heroes that you see in the movie in the Ewok Battle Force, but Ewoks would also be Rebel Mercs, so you can take those in, with normal Merc rules inside Rebel lists as well. They didn't give us the specifics I was looking for, like exactly how many you get in a unit, but they said you get a lot of them in a unit. They're primarily melee, but they had a little bit of ranged options. They had like an axe guy and a trapper guy. The trapper guy does traps. Suppression is going to work differently on these guys. They seem like they're very easily suppressed. There will be a Chewbacca Incognito ATST, though. So you're going to be able to get them stealing an Imperial ATST that will have Incognito, which I think is super fun. So you're going to be able to, you're not, the other people are going to think it's not your unit, right? And again, Incognito really is, I've said this before, Incognito is the perfect way to have stolen units or betrayers or undercover units. It works well for that. It would work really well for General Krell if you ever wanted to do him for the Separatists, but have him, not get attacked right away, because those clones over there think he's one of them or whatever, like for any kind of traitor mechanic, or Leia Bouche bounty hunter would be a great Incognito type thing, stuff like that. So Chewbacca will have that in the ATST. The ATST will also have Inspire, which the Ewoks will need, which is going to be kind of fun. They also said they'll be doing a new Imperial ATST dude to kind of oppose Chewbacca, to have some symmetry there, and that'll be part of the Tempest Battle Force. That is coming, that will have, I guess, Imperial commandos. The Imperial Scout Troopers will probably have a little bit of a resurgence in that battle force. Logray will be a support for them. They'll have a card called Insatiable Curiosity that lets them steal like a speeder bike or something like that from their opponent, which is pretty interesting. And then last but not least, Friday, July 22nd at San Diego Comic-Con, there will have a Legion panel at the Star Wars room at San Diego Comic-Con from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know if there will be a whole lot of new stuff there. They didn't say that they'd have anything new to announce, but they did say that they would be there. And that's going to do it. I will talk to you guys soon. We're going to be back. It is currently 2:04, so I'll be back at around 3:30-ish to prepare for the X-Wing watch party, which will be going on, and that will cover the X-Wing Battle of Yavin and Beyond stream, and that will run from about 4 to about 5 o'clock-ish Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hop in Discord and check out the painting competition and some other stuff while you're there, and share it with your friends. I will talk to you guys later. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting the channel. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you, and also with you. As I walk through the Valley of the Jedi, I find the remnants of Kyle Katarn and the footstep. Oh, my dog has to go out. I better end the stream.